Opinionated Idiot.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Opinionated Idiot live show. We are here Sunday, April 16, 2023. How is everybody doing this evening? We are back tonight for part 2 of looking back the Idaho 4. I guess this is like a series or shows. We're going to keep this theme going probably throughout the next week or 2 weeks. I really want to look back in this case, and we had an excellent part 1 last night. We did a 3-hour live stream, and you all in the chat hung all the way through the 3-hour live stream. It was such a great time to go back and look at those first pressers and take us through just kind of that turmoil of that first month and a half. And we're going to get into a few more of the pressers leading right up to the press conferences of Bryan Kohberger being arrested for being the alleged suspect in this case. I hope that you all enjoyed last night's shows. I know I did. It was very informative to go back, and I heard a lot of things in those first pressers that I missed or I might have forgot about. And I think this is why it's been a really great thing to go back and look at all that. And I even saw in the chat last night that a lot of people like, oh, wow, I had forgot about that, or this is something new to look in. And I was reading the comments today, and people like, wow, I'm so glad that you're doing this, because sometimes we get so far forward, we forget where we came from. And I think it's always good to go back and look and see how this case evolved and how it got to this certain point. So again, I hope you're all enjoying these look backs. I think it's very informative to go back. I don't want to say it's like fun, but I think very informative to go back and maybe, like I said, see something that we might have not seen or heard, listen or heard something that we might have not heard before. I'm going to get to everybody in the chat. Just look to see who is here. For my regulars, I see a lot of my mods here. I see a lot of my contributors here. A lot of people are in the chat early today, which is fantastic. So it just tells me that everybody's really enjoying these shows. Victorine is here. Thank you so much for being here. AZ, as always, is here. He says, smash, and smash the like button. I love that. Dr. Bob, always, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. 2014 is here. Just finished up replaying last night live as I missed it, caught up and ready for night 2. Great show. I have to agree. It was very, very fun last night, going through that. I don't tend to like to use the fun word, I guess, in these cases, but very informative, very informative. But it was fun for you guys. It was fun having you guys here and just really, powering through that 3-hour live stream. It was very, very, it was a long live stream. Firefly's here. Good to see you as well. Let's keep going. New Joe is here. She said, hey, y'all, Heather can't make it tonight. She's because she's being an emotional support bestie. She asked me to let you all know, and she sends her love. We'll send her love back because we love having Heather here as well. But we know Mandy is here, and it's always good to see her. Let's see, who else do we have? Let's see, Diane is here. She says, hello, peeps. Had to join the channel too. Thank you so much for the new subscriber. Please make sure to smash the like button. We want to get to 100 likes this evening. 100 likes is our goal. Forward Love is here. It says cute intro music. Thank you so much. Chosen Rosen, always here. Always a fan favorite to be here in the chat. Appreciate you. Karen T is here saying, hey, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We are. We're doing great. And we're ready to do another action-packed show here. George is here as well. So it's asked, wasn't that the tune in Clockwork Orange? Actually, 2001 Space Odyssey, 2001 Space Odyssey. And then I have hit the let's get pumped up music there a minute into the show. So I appreciate you guys all liking that. Who else do we have? I think that was, who's chatting? Peruka is here. That's an old name. Hey, Peruka, how are you? Good to see you over here in the chat. Who else? We have DM Mix says, where do you get your shoe rack? Shoe racks are found on Amazon. Super, super easy. They're just clear cubes. I think I paid 30 or 40 US dollars for, I think they come in a pack of 5 or 6, and they're kind of collapsible and you can kind of put them together. I actually need to get a whole bunch more because I have a whole bunch of more shoes coming in because I'm a sneakerhead. I have too many sneakers and I shouldn't be buying sneakers anymore. Let's see. Susie's here. Thank you so much. Glowbug is here. Hello, Glowbug. How are you? We have Vanderhoof is here. Hello, how are you? Janelle, I see a lot of new faces this evening. GLH is here as well. Jamie is here. She says, hi, all. Love your show. Well, we love having you here. Thank you so much, Jamie. Appreciate you. We have the super fan, Christine Brown is here. Hello, Christine. How are you? She always asks me to stand up so she can see my boxers, but that's probably not going to happen. Karen T. And I actually looked into branding some boxers today. It's very, very expensive, but I'm going to try to work on something. I do know that we're going to be doing kind of those Live Strong type bracelets. That's going to say opinionated idiot on it. And then on the backside, it's going to say official idiot on it. So we'll work on those and get those made up pretty soon here. Vet Girl is here. Hey, from California. Good to see you. Beautiful Corvette, by the way. Thanks for joining the chat. I appreciate you. I think we've gotten everybody. Oh, Mountain Mom is here as well. And I appreciate you so much. So we've gotten everybody in the chat. Welcomed everybody in. We know that other people will come in through the night, and hopefully we can get this over to 100 likes. But there's 54 people watching right now. If you can just take a moment and smash that like button, I really would appreciate it. But before we go into tonight's tonight's show, every couple of shows I have kind of some things I want to read through. Tonight I want to read this to all of you. So just bear with me and we'll get through this. Okay. So this just has about having different opinions in criminal cases. So having different opinions in a criminal case is not uncommon, especially in cases where evidence is complex and ambiguous. In a criminal case, the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant committed the crime. However, different people may interpret the evidence differently or have different opinions on whether the prosecution has met the burden of proof. Here are some tips on how to handle different opinions in a criminal case. 1, we want to have respectful communication. It is important to approach different of opinions with respect and open-mindedness. Listen actively to the opinions to others and try to understand their reasoning. Avoid making assumptions or jumping to conclusions. Number 2, consider different perspectives. Try to consider different perspectives on the evidence in a case, and be open to changing your opinion if new evidence or arguments are presented. Number 3, evaluate the evidence. Evaluate the evidence presented in a case carefully and objectively. Consider your reliability of a witness and credibility of the evidence and the consistency of testimony. Number 4, seek guidance. Seek guidance from legal experts such as lawyers or judges to better understand the legal framework and the standards of evidence in a criminal case. Number 5, we need to work towards a consensus. Work towards consensus with others, members of a legal team or jury where possible. Try to find a common ground and work together to arrive at a fair, just outcome. Number 6, respect the decision. Finally, it's important to respect the decision of the legal system. Even if you may not personally agree with it, the legal system is designated to ensure justice is served. And it's important to trust in the system, even if it's not always perfect. So having a different opinion in a criminal case is normal, but it's important to approach these differences with respect, open-mindedness, and the commitment to evaluating the evidence objectively. By doing so, members of the legal team or jury can work together and arrive at a fair and just outcome. And I want to make sure that everybody understands this. We talk a lot about Bryan Kohberger. being the alleged murderer in these 4 murders, in this crime. And I want to just make sure that we all understand this. Bryan Kohberger right now is innocent until proven guilty. He is, with all respect to the justice system, he is warranted to due process, and will let a jury of his peers make the decision if he's guilty or innocent or guilty in this case. And we'll find out. We're getting closer to June 26th. We will find out if there's going to be a preliminary hearing. We will find out if this will go to trial. But right now, we have to respect the law and the justice system. I want to talk a little bit about this before we go into tonight's program as well. And it's about the gray areas surrounding life. I just want to talk about this. While there may be situations where their appropriate course of action is not immediately clear to, or there are multiple perspectives to consider, not everything is a gray area in life. There are certain principles and values that can provide clear guidance on how to act in many situations. For example, principles such as honesty, integrity, compassion, and fairness can provide a clear framework for decision-making in many situations. Similarity in law, the regulations, you can provide a clear framework for appropriate behavior in many contexts. Where there are many situations where the appropriate course of action is not immediately clear, it is important to rely on the guidance and principles and values to help navigate the situations. It is also important to seek out advice and guidance from trusted sources, such as mentors, advisors, or experts in their relative field. Ultimately, it is up to each individual to navigate the complexities of life and to make decisions based on their own values, principles, and experiences. While there may not always be a clear right or wrong answer, by relying on these guidelines, principles, and seeking out guidance when necessary, individuals can make informed and ethical decisions in a variety of situations. So I wanted to leave you all with that, just some food for thought, and we will move on with tonight's show. So tonight, I want to get into pick up where we left off last night. The first presser that I want to pick up is on 12/28/22, where there was kind of a month gap in between when we saw pressers. Moscow Police and Chief Fry on the Moscow Police YouTube channel were kind of in between that month-long no pressers. We're just dropping kind of blitz and blurbs, 1-minute videos of where they were in this case. But this is going to be the first time that Chief Fry speaks out on 12/28/22. We'll pull that up and start going through that soon. What I actually want to talk about really quick before I do that is there are some things that I pulled from the videos that we went through the other night. And I want you all to think about this too. I believe in the first or the second presser, Chief Fry talked about 103 pieces of evidence collected from King Road and talked about 5,000 photos that were taken. And he went on to talk about digital scans of the property as well, inside and outside. So we have to consider all of that in evidence as well too. And the thing that I want to know is what other things that were collected. And that's weighed on my mind since yesterday. And I cannot wait to find out what those pieces of evidence that were collected from that home. 103 pieces of evidence that we do not know about and that we will find out about. Also, something else that kind of stuck out to me was in one of the presses, Chief Fry talked about the victims, all 4 of the victims being asleep. Now, I'm not sure if I can remember as the pressers went on, if they clarified that. I believe they may have, but if I'm wrong, correct me in the chat. So I found that very interesting as well. And then finding out, where the FBI organizations were coming out of. There was Salt Lake City, Utah, and there was West Virginia. And going back and looking at some of the redacted documents, some of those places where those companies are out of like Salt Lake City, and I believe there was what was it, the the knife company, and Blue Ridge Knives was out of Virginia. I know West Virginia and Virginia are two completely different states, but I found that very interesting too. I'm not sure if there's anything to that. It just may be relying where the offices were that the FBI agents came out of. So just some food for thought before we move on in tonight's show. So let's go to pull up the first presser that Fry gave on 12/28/22, and we will play through that, as it will be the first presser that he does in over a month after he breaks kind of his silence. So let me see here real quick. I just want to make sure I have the right one. Let's pull this up, and I might be in the wrong one here. Yeah, this is the wrong one. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm really messing up tonight. Come on, get it together. Get it together. Let's see. I want this one. Tab 30. I wish we could queue multiple tabs in StreamYard. It gets kind of annoying. I think it's this one. Yep. All right. That's the one I want. So this is the one-on-one interview. It's about 13 minutes. And this is probably after about a month of breaking silence on pressers.
Probably incredibly difficult. So can you tell me a little bit about what officers are handling emotionally with this case?
You know, I think all these cases that any law enforcement goes on are emotional. But, you know, we've brought in counselors and helped officers work through that. And we brought in peer support teams to also give support. And we'll continue to do that as we need to. But all in all, the officers are doing really well.
Can we talk a little bit about some of the national attention this case has gotten?
Uh-oh.
So here's what
Rachel already.
We won't let self-doubt win again.
And specifically kind of
I mean, he looked tired.
social media aspect and a lot of, I would say, like armchair detectives.
Sure.
I haven't worn
Oh
a
my
bra
God.
since
You
I
gotta be
got
kidding
this.
me. Look
I've
at all
been
these
using the
commercials.
Shaper key
Unreal.
from Shaper Mint since I came.
How is
I mean,
that?
I get it.
been
You want to get
trying
paid, but
to
come on.
Do the real police work when you're getting all of that sort of attention?
Yeah, it's a good.
It's new, you know.
You can
we're
see
not used to the
he looks
national
tired.
attention quite this big.
Yeah, he
especially-
looks tired, but you can see that confidence is building. You know, and you got to think in 2 days there's going to be the arrest.
with news crews coming to town and whatnot. But, you know, we brought in a PIO team that's helped us out immensely to deal with.
You can't
just
hear the video?
A large amount.
Can you hear the video? Give me a 1 in the chat. Can you hear the video? If you can't hear it, I need to fix it. If you can't hear it, give me a 2. So 1, you can hear it. 2, you can't hear it. I'll play it a little bit here.
Of requests to do interviews.
Okay, you can hear it.
The
Okay.
Online stuff, that's going to happen, right?
Thank you.
I mean, that's just the day and age we're in. There's a lot of people who are sending us tips and stuff through that. And we're going to look into all those as well. So some of it's very useful. Some of it can be distracting.
I turned it up.
We're
It's about as
filtering
best
through
as I
that,
can do.
And we're managing that. And the investigators are using the information that's good to continue on with that.
Do you mind if we move that
It-
mic down a little
Nope,
bit?
that's fine.
It's the audio quality, and they're going to have him adjust his mic, but we'll do the best here. We'll do our best.
Kind of rub in.
It's the way the video is.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
It's
you said
12/28/22.
kind of distracting. I'm sure that as
Arrest
you're
will be
trying to
made on the
parse
30th.
I don't want to say there's good tips and bad tips because I'm
Right.
sure you're running
Right.
them all out. But as you're trying to parse through all that information, you said it can be distracting and it's probably a lot of extra work.
Yeah, you know, we've had over 17,000 tips come in, and we have.
So for anyone asking about my Misfits t-shirt, yes, my favorite band since I was about 11 years old, 12 years old. I have a lot of Misfits memorabilia. I kind of showed some of my record collection that I have, just really old stuff. I have stuff that's signed by the band members. I'm a huge Misfits fan, so my favorite band of all time.
have a team across the nation that's looking at those and pulling stuff that's good. But we want people to continue to even any tip that there is, even if they don't think it's a valuable tip, we want those because we'll determine whether they're valuable to us. And people may not think that they're valuable, but we still want that stuff to come into us so that we can look at it and decide if it fits our case or not.
Yeah, and I know a lot of law enforcement says even if you know something you don't think is pertinent to the case, maybe you saw something that you don't know is the key, but maybe detectives and law enforcement know that that's the thing they need.
That's exactly right, and that's why we've asked people, with any pictures from that night or any video, to send it to us, send it to our tip line. We'll determine whether that's valuable or not, and we have, like I said, a team that's looking at all that and bringing things together so that we can paint that picture.
I'm not frozen. You might
and I
need to
know
restart your
a
computer, but
defamation
everybody else
lawsuit
says I'm
going on,
fine.
That's probably kind of beyond the scope of what you guys are focused on. But it kind of highlights the national attention of the case and kind of just
I'm watching the live feed.
messiness of the case.
My
and
camera's working
what's going
fine. It's
on.
probably something in your
Can you talk a little
your
bit
computer.
more about that?
And I just learned about that this morning on the news, and I think I read it in the paper over the weekend. That has to do with the university and the professor, and we're focused on this homicide right now. So that's what we're going to continue to focus on.
How do you stay focused on the facts of the case with all of that extra?
Well, I think it's part of what we do. It's, we're trained to investigate things, and we're fact finders. That's what an investigation does. It puts all the pieces together so that we can paint the picture, so that when an arrest is made and it goes to trial, that we can lay that all out for a jury to be able to.
He probably knew the arrest was coming, because you got to think in 2 days the arrest. He knew the arrest was coming.
See the facts, and
you can see it.
How we got
his
from
energy.
point A to point B.
The property owners of that unit that the students were in, have you spoken with them? Are they cooperating with law enforcement?
We have spoken with them, and they are cooperating.
Okay. As we're thinking about winter break coming to an end and students coming back, do you have a message for those students who are returning?
Nami's
I
right.
I stated in an earlier interview, we want the students to come back. We're going to do everything we can to provide a safe environment, but that really is a family decision. That's a decision that those students and the families need to make. But we're going to do everything in our power to continue to provide safety.
I'm just going to change my shot here a little bit. And as I do that, I'll ask you,
Are you ready for me to change your
Holy
life? Because I'm
smokes.
about to.
If you hate wearing bras, then
I
you're gonna
hate
wanna
wearing
listen.
I'm a
bras.
36B and
I'm a 36B.
are there still patrols? Are there still extra patrols around the university? And how long are those going to be in place?
So we always have patrols going on campus. It's an area that our patrol team,
Good catch,
first
Laura.
of all, is up there, as well as some campus officers. But I do believe there's going to be some additional state troopers in the area after the break and stuff. And as well, we've reached out to Lake Tahoe County to provide some extra patrols, just so that people were more seen and they can, feel a little bit more comfortable, hopefully.
Yeah.
He does.
And I know that you said you've gotten about 17,000 tips.
It's almost like he's so giddy that he wants to give it away right now, but obviously he knows he can't. But you can see it. It's in his body language. Like he said, those little mini smiles. His eyes are telling a lot. It's almost like she's asking these questions and he already knows the answers. Like you don't even know what's coming, kind of stuff.
Have those helped lead the case in a new direction? Have they helped kind of divert where you guys are looking?
So like I said, we're taking the facts that we know, we're taking all tips that we know, and we're putting those pieces to the puzzle
How happy he
together
is.
and painting that picture. And as we continue to investigate, we'll update as soon as we can, but we're moving forward on this investigation.
He wants to say it
we're not gonna
so
stop
bad.
until we
Look
get a
at
conclusion.
right there. He wants to say it so bad.
And I know that you can't give us everything, Do you have evidence that can prove the case?
Look at him lighting up right now. Look.
Like I said, that's part of the investigation.
Let's go back. Look at the smile. Look at the smile. Look. Yeah, he knows. No, this is the 28th. This is December 28th. They stopped doing pressers for about a month, and then they broke in, and this was kind of his first press conference. So this is the 28th, and then the 30th, we know there's the rest. But let's go back a little bit. I want to watch his body language there.
As we can, but we're moving forward on this investigation,
Yeah.
and we're not going to stop until we get a conclusion.
There was the smile right here. He's trying to hold it in. Look,
And I know
look at him lighting up.
Can't give us everything.
Look.
But do you have evidence that can prove the case when and if you do find a suspect?
Like I said, that's part of the investigation.
Look, he knows.
And
Look.
I know people are frustrated with us holding that so tight.
Look.
But when we can provide any updated information, we will. I can guarantee you that.
Can you kind of explain to people who may not understand or may have that frustration of why aren't they telling us more, why you hold back some information?
I can't.
We always hold back information.
There's no way
on
I
any
can.
case that you
It's
work. But one this big, you hold back.
It's
because
just the way that YouTube is. I'm sorry.
you want to have an unbiased jury pool. And it's not just about today. It's about
I don't have a fader, so I can't adjust volumes. It's just the way that YouTube is. I'm sorry. And this video audio quality is very, very low. So it's just really the way it is. I'm sorry.
in a year from now or whenever we make an arrest and go to trial. We want to have that pool of people who can look at the case and not have all the facts to that to make the decision to find this person guilty.
He's trying not to smile. Look.
What's the timeline on DNA or lab results?
That's a good question. That has everything to do with the lab and how long they take to do what they do. And we don't want to rush that, right? We want to ensure that we're taking our time to get all that right. So we're just waiting for them. It's kind of we have to be patient too. We would love to have all that information immediately, but like I've told people, real life and the movies are a little bit different. And the movies at the end of the hour, they have all that information. We don't get that quite that fast, but we're going to be patient for that.
Yeah, the CSI effect, right?
Yes.
Everybody's thinking that it's so quick, and it's definitely not that. And I understand if you can't tell me, but is there DNA in this case?
Like I said, I can't answer that question, but we've collected a lot of evidence and we're looking into every aspect of it.
This could very well be the last holster that you ever buy.
It could be.
And the reason for that is because it's super comfortable.
It's super comfortable.
And I know there's been funding from the governor to aid in the investigation. So how is that money being used?
That's still ongoing, and that's actually at a level a little bit of me. I just present the numbers to our city supervisor and to the mayor, and then they work with the governor to determine that.
So, and I'm still familiarizing myself with all of the aspects of this, but when did that funding come in?
So that was probably 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, maybe even when I think Colonel Wills announced that there'd be some money made available. So we're just working through the processes of, where it goes and how it's used.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to, I want to just look at this really quick. So we're going to end this poll. I'm going to start a new one. We had 77 votes. Are you finding these look backs shows helpful? 87% said yes. The 12% said no. Okay. I guess maybe the 12% are not watching then. All right, let's do this. I want to throw a new poll up. All right, new poll is going up here in a second. Hang on one second. I'm going to do this. New poll is going up. If you can take a moment, let's answer this here. All right, new poll is up. Do you think Bryan Kohberger watched the pressers? Go up there and give me a yes or a no. Let's see.
Has this case changed any policies within the Moscow Police Department or changed the way that you go about investigating it?
It is not. We've always been very quick to secure scenes. We've always been very quick to call in ISP, and we've always been very quick to call in our federal partners, FBI, ATF, depending on the type of the case of who we need the specialty from. So I know there's a lot of confusion out there that we're a small department, but we do utilize our resources and we utilize them very well.
What about with getting information out to people and the media? I know there was some criticism at the beginning about how quickly information was coming out, and the idea that there was not an ongoing threat to the public, and then people were concerned that there was not a suspect under arrest, and that.
So I take responsibility for information not getting out as fast as possible. I probably should have been much quicker on that, but in the beginning of these, we're a small department, so everybody's working on this case, and me to be included. But we realized pretty quickly that we needed to get information out. That's why we called in the PIO team, and they've helped us get information, and I think we've been much better at that since that time. Some of the information early on, you don't, like I said, you don't release a ton. I wish I would have been. I had a press conference earlier, but like I said, I take responsibility for that.
Probably another one of those that might be hard to answer, but when will the department release the 911 call, or can we expect that to be publicly released?
I think it'll be released when the prosecution believes that we can release that. That may be at trial. That may be before then. But some of that, we make a decision as a team of investigators and administration, as well as our prosecutor's office. So we want to make sure that we hold that until it's no longer, not that it's not needed, but it's okay for the case.
I'll tell you, the thing that I would love to pick and be inside his brain right now is to know what's on that 911 call and why this 8-hour gap in time when 911 was called. He knows. But I tell you, I wish I could be a fly inside his brain right now. Let's just back that up a little bit really quick. I want to watch his body language through that question.
Probably another one of those that might be hard to answer, but when will the department release the 911 call, or can we expect that to be publicly released?
I think it'll be released when the prosecution believes that we can release that. That may be at trial. That may be before then. But some of that, we make a decision as a team of investigators and administration, as well as our prosecutor's office. So we want to make sure that we hold that until it's no longer, not that it's not needed, but it's okay for the case.
Is there something specific on the call that you believe could lead to an arrest?
Like I said, I can't discuss that. It's part of the investigation.
Oh, this is interesting. His body language here. He's smiling. I get some weird theories right now, but I'm not going to throw it out there. I want to back that up a little bit.
It's okay for the case.
Is there something specific on the call that you believe could lead to an arrest?
Like I said, I can't discuss that.
Look at his body
It's
language.
part of the investigation, but as soon as we can release that information, we will.
And I think this may be the last question.
I wonder if someone was like, is Bryan fucking Kohberger on that call? Or, such and such is involved, or it was such and such, you know what I mean? Wow, I look at that again. Hang on. Let's go back.
As well as our prosecutor's office. So we want to make sure that we hold that until it's no longer, not that it's not needed, but it's okay for the case.
Is there something specific on the call that you believe could lead to an arrest?
Like I said, I can't discuss that. It's part of the investigation, but as soon as we can release that,
There's something there.
And I think this may be the last question.
I mean, I wonder if they're like, I know who it is, I know who it is. Maybe someone on that call just starts telling everything. This is just such a weird, strange, twisty, turny case. Maybe they were like, it's Bryan Kohberger, like, I don't know. This is just really strange. He knows there's something on that call that needs to be said. There's a lot of information on that call. I truly believe it. I truly believe it. That is going to be a bombshell call.
We know that at least one victim's family has hired a private detective. Have you spoken with that detective?
So Amber says, okay, here's my theory. Maybe DM was friends with Bryan Kohberger. There's why it took so long to call to be made. So she didn't want to snitch, but Hunter called 911 and she had to. Or how about she's all right, here's my theory. Maybe DM's friends with Bryan Kohberger. Yeah, maybe she's friends with him, knew who did it. One, didn't want to snitch, or two, knew him and was afraid that he would come for her. Who knows? Maybe Bryan Kohberger's name was said on that 911 call. YouTube user has it. And by the way, I love that name. It's so generic and so awesome. YouTube user says there's definitely something there. Definitely something on that 911 call. You can see it in his face. You can see it in his expression. There's something in that call. Wow. And this is why I love doing this, when we can go back and look, because we forget things and we miss things. And, now we can go back and kind of recall and look through our brains. I mean, I'm sure that you all didn't see his body language there. We're methodically breaking it down, and we're looking now, because now we know, we're in the future of this case, now going back to look what we know now and lining all that information up.
An investigator, are you kind of in contact with that family?
We're in contact with all the families daily. We have a representative from the police department that communicates with them. I have not been in contact with the private investigator. I think the same family has an attorney, which we have been in contact with the attorney, and we actually channel all of our stuff through the attorney.
Anything else that you can think to add, or anything you want people to know?
I think the biggest thing is just the outpouring of support we've had across the community.
He's like, I think the biggest thing is in 2 days we're going to come out and have a presser that we have an arrest.
Across our state and across our nation. We've received multiple emails, food, all cards, you name it. People have reached out to us and thanked us for the hard work, and we'll continue to work hard. We're going to work until, like I said, we get a completion of this case.
He knows. Look at, oh my God, he knows so bad. Oh, that's such a great video. Wow, I'm so glad that we played through that and looked through that. That 911 call has a lot of information on it. Hey, listen, before we pull up the next video, if you all can do me a favor, there's 114 people watching right now. Literally, I only need to get like 24 more likes to get to 100 likes. So if you haven't already, just go down there and smash that like button. I really would appreciate it. It helps move this stream out in the algorithm, helps grow this channel, and I would appreciate it. All right. So let's do this. I'm going to pull up the next video, which is going to be, now here's the, so we had Chief Fry on the 28th. We're going to look at the 30th. This is the Bryan Kohberger arrest announcement. So let me just pull this up really quick. Make sure I got all my Moscow Police Department. I wish I could queue multiple tabs, but it doesn't allow me to do that. Okay, so this is December 30th. This is the arrest video. I've already gone ahead and fast forward kind of the little intro, and we're going to play through this, and here we go. Look at Fry's confidence when he comes out. Watch. Look at him come to the podium. Look how relaxed he is.
Thank you for coming today. Last night, in conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Police, Federal Bureau of Investigation, detectives arrested 28-year-old Bryan Christopher Kohberger in Albrightsville,
He's
Pennsylvania,
nervous. He's still nervous.
on a warrant for murders of Ethan, Zana, Madison, and Kaylee. I want to personally thank these agencies for their assistance in this case. Kohberger resides in Pullman, Washington, and is a graduate student at Washington State University. We will provide as much information as we can about the extradition to Idaho and the criminal process. However, due to Idaho state law, we are limited in what information we can release today until Kohberger has his initial appearance in Idaho court. I want to express my appreciation to our local community, the people of Idaho, and those throughout our nation who provided information to help us investigate these murders has been very impressive. We've received over 19,000 tips, and we've conducted over 300 interviews.
19,000 tips, 300 interviews. I wonder how many of those people would be called as witnesses. I mean, I don't think 300 people would be called, but I would say a majority of them probably would for witness statements in court.
This case. On the evening of November 12th.
Yeah, Susan, no problem.
Kaylee and
Thanks for
Madison
being here.
arrived home at about 1:56 a.m. after visiting a local bar and street food vendor. Ethan and Zana were at the Sigma Chi house before arriving home around
All right, let's really listen to this timeline.
1:45 a.m. The two surviving roommates had also been in the community but returned around 1 a.m. On the morning of November 13th, a 911 call was made at 11:58 a.m. reporting an unconscious person at the residence. The call came from inside the home from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. Moscow police responded and found 2 victims on the 2nd floor and 2 victims on the 3rd floor. On November 17th, autopsies were conducted, and the Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 victims. The cause and manner of death was homicide by stabbing. Some had defensive wounds, and each had been stabbed multiple times.
He said some had defensive wounds. Okay.
These murders have shaken our community, and no arrest will ever bring back these young students. However, we do believe justice will be found through the criminal process. This was a very complex and extensive case. We had developed a clear picture over time, and we stand assured that the work is not done.
He's very
Be
nervous.
reassured the work is not done. This has just started. Since November, we have remained laser focused on pursuing every lead in our pursuit of justice for the victims and their families. I recognize the frustration with the lack of information that's been released. However, providing any details in this criminal investigation might have tainted the upcoming criminal prosecution or alerted the suspect of our progress. We will continue to provide as much information as we can as the process moves forward. Today, I want to specifically thank our dedicated
I just want to address this really quick. Susan A says, I appreciate your dedication to true crime. I like watching all your videos, even if they don't have anything to do with Idaho 4. Yeah, you know, you can't, I realize that this is a very, I would say, hot case right now. You know, we're all kind of trying to get to June 26th and see where this is going to, you know, where this is going to go, what case is going to go. But you know, like channel content, you have to do other stuff as well. I mean, you can't listen. I understand that there's a lot of all my regular, viewers here, they all watch very similar channels. I get it. Everybody does their own perspective on Idaho. But my whole thing is, I want to provide other content here as well, because it can't always be Idaho. And then when this case concludes, either guilty or innocent, you have to go on to the next thing. We will never forget the 4 victims in this. We will celebrate their lives forever on this channel. We do this in the best interest of those victims and the victims' families. But I like to provide other content as well too. I want to grow this channel as big as I can and grow this community as big as I can. And, eventually someday get this out of my room and have a studio and have people come in and maybe advocate for, some of their cold cases, maybe a family member or a friend that needs some attention brought back to that case, have them come in and tell us, what their story is, and maybe bring some attention back to those types of cold cases, or have, former law enforcement or FBI or anybody in a professor to have a conversation and talk about, what are the steps that you go through in criminal proceedings, maybe a body language expert. So that's my vision for the channel, and to give back to this community, here. So sorry, I went on kind of my rant, but I did want to address that, and we'll get back to the video.
Moscow Police Department detectives, patrol officers.
Thank you.
The Idaho State detectives, the Idaho State troopers, and their crime lab technicians and scientists.
Or even just to have other YouTubers in, have them on a panel, and we can, talk about current cases and just do stuff like that. So, I live by the saying that Walt Disney said, if you dream it, you can do it. I know like Disney has a lot of controversial stuff. I don't really believe in a lot of that stuff, but that saying has always kind of stuck with me. So,
and the Federal Bureau of Investigation for the resources and personnel to conduct this massive investigation. It was the dedication of them and the persistence and the numerous hours that led to an arrest. Fortunately, these highly skilled people work together as a cohesive team to solve this case. I also want to thank our community and the nation. Over the past 6 weeks, I've been continually reminded of how much our community cares. Locally, public support has been...
Okay, let me just address this really quick. So, for this week, and I think this week and next week, I really want to do rewinds on Idaho 4. This theme has been doing really well, and I really want to get it up to conclusion and bring us up to present day. So probably for the next week or two, we're going to bunk out Serial Killer Tuesday and Throwback Thursday. We'll put those on pause for now and really contribute to this kind of series I'm doing right now. I think it's good, like I said, to go back and look at all of this. So we're going to put pause on that for now, but I do appreciate you asking. We will continue with that soon, though. Okay, let's keep playing through.
Been exceptional with kind words, food for investigators, and letters of support. You will never know how much your words of encouragement help us through these trying times. I appreciate each of you and each of your kindness. Agencies and individuals from across the nation have reached out to us to express their support to this department. I'm reminded how our Moscow community, our families, and the nation has been impacted by this daily. Finally, I do want to thank our media partners for the help. You kept this in the news. You helped us with tips. You kept things going, and we truly appreciate that. And you are the product of those 19,000 tips that we received, which is an impressive number. I would like to invite Bill Thompson, the county prosecutor, up at this time.
100% Hillary.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Bill Thompson. I'm the Latah County prosecutor. And it's sad to be here, but happy to be here at the same time. As Chief Fry indicated, a criminal complaint was filed yesterday here in Latah County, charging the defendant, Mr. Kohberger, with 4 counts of first-degree murder, in addition to felony burglary, which involves entering the residence with the intent to commit the crime of murder. Mr. Kohberger, and let me preface, there's a pending case now in court, and I and my office and the investigators have to live with the restrictions that our Supreme Court places on pretrial publicity. That said, I promise you we will share with you through the court process or otherwise, whatever.
Oh, he really does look like Santa Claus, doesn't he? Wow, I didn't really notice that before. He really does.
I just appreciate your patience on that. The factual basis for the charges are summarized in what's called a probable cause affidavit that is on file with the court. According to the rules of the Idaho Supreme Court, that is sealed until Mr. Kohberger is physically back in Latah County and has been served with the Idaho arrest warrant. At that time, we expect that that affidavit will be available to you so you can share the true facts with all of your readers and your watchers and your listeners and all the people who are interested and really need to know what's going on. So please have patience with us on that. We hope to get that to you as soon as we can. As far as Mr. Kohberger, I can share with you that he is a graduate student at Washington State University and has an apartment residence over in Pullman. He has had an initial appearance in front of a judge in Pennsylvania. He is being held without bond, and the warrant from our magistrate judge here also provides for no bond.
Excuse me.
We understand that he's scheduled to be back in court in Pennsylvania next Tuesday afternoon, and that a public defender has been appointed for him there. The process at this point is, since he was arrested in another state, he has the opportunity to either waive extradition and return voluntarily to the state of Idaho, or if he prefers not to waive extradition, then we will initiate extradition proceedings through our governor's office. If we do that, it can take a while for him to get here. So again, I'm asking for your patience and understand that's just the way the system works. Once he gets here, he'll have an initial appearance with our magistrate. They'll deal with issues such as making sure competent counsel is representing him, and the case will be scheduled for further hearings. Your primary source of factual information is going to be the court record, because that's what the Supreme Court says we need to refer you to. So please pay attention to what's going on in court and have people there to watch and hear what's being said. As an attorney, myself and my office, we are limited on what we are allowed by the courts to say outside of the courtroom. So please just work with us. Finally, as the chief indicated, this is not the end of this investigation. In fact, this is a new beginning. Y'all now know the name of the person who has been charged with these offenses. Please get that information out there. Please ask the public, anyone who knows about this individual, to come forward, call the tip line, report anything you know about him to help the investigators and eventually our office and the court system understand.
Do you think at this point they still had no idea of the connection? Or do you think they knew? Do you think they knew the connection? Because it almost seems like he's pleading here. Give me a 1 in the chat if you think that they know the connection at this point, and give me a 2 if you didn't think they knew.
Fully everything there is to know about not only the individual, but what happened and why. Next, I'll introduce Colonel Ked Wells from the Idaho State Police. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is
A lot of
Kedrick
twos.
Wills. I serve as the director of the Idaho State Police, and certainly want to express our appreciation for your attendance here today. These tragic murders took 4 young, vibrant lives from our community. Nothing we do can bring them back. The only thing that we can do in law enforcement to honor their memories that we know of is to bring this to a successful conclusion. This has been a very difficult time for the families, the university, the community, and the state of Idaho. However, it is also proven that communities come together in tough times. Certainly appreciate.
Maybe they did know. Maybe it was on that 911 call. Maybe Kohberger's name was said on that 911 call. We don't know, but it does seem like there's a lot of telling evidence on that 911 call, and that's why it hasn't been released yet.
the support of the local community and our national audience that has been following us as our investigators have worked through this case. I'm thankful also to you, the media partners, who have helped keep this case in the forefront that generates the tips and we hope will continue to generate information that will help us to a conclusion of this proceeding. I'd like to express our appreciation on behalf of the Idaho State Police to Chief Fry, his leadership, and the entire Moscow Police Department for the way that they handled this from the very beginning. He directed the right people to the right positions that led us to this conclusion today. I've had the utmost confidence in this investigation and in Chief Fry, as well as in Mr. Bill Thompson and the Latah County Prosecutor's Office, who've been a great partner throughout this. Nothing has deterred the commitment of the investigators who've worked on this case, regardless of the organization they represent. It's been very trying and very difficult, as you know, that it has been on those investigators as they do the tedious work that they're so good at doing. The partnerships is what's led here as well. The partnerships between Moscow Police Department, I'd like to express our appreciation with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, specifically the special agent in charge out of the Salt Lake City Division, Dennis Rice, and also the work that happened in the last 24 hours in Pennsylvania with the arrest with the Pennsylvania State Police and Colonel Evanchik with the Pennsylvania State Police. We appreciate what they've done across the nation to help us as well. As Bill shared, this investigation is far from over. In fact, I appreciate what he shared, that this is not an ending, but rather a beginning. The difference now is, as he shared, that we are dictated what information we can share by the court process and by laws in our state of Idaho. And so we will share, as he shared, Mr. Thompson is absolutely committed to share everything he can share through the court process. We've got to make sure that we don't get in front of that process. And we really deeply appreciate everybody's support here. The relationships that were forged here and the partnerships that were forged have led to this. And based on that is why we're here today. And we continue to believe that the best way we can honor these 4 lives that have been taken is to make sure that we have a successful outcome here. One of the partnerships that's been forged throughout this is a partnership with the University of Idaho. And on that, I'd like to introduce the president of the University of Idaho, Mr. Scott Green.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Scott Green, President, University of Idaho. Today's news of arrest is a welcome one. It's relief to our university, our community, and our extended Vandal family. The outpouring of support over the past 6 weeks helped sustain us during the most trying time. It provided the strength that helped us navigate the international scrutiny visited on our students and employees. We are truly thankful for the compassion and acts of kindness shown to our community. Kindness is contagious, and it provided the light that reclaimed ground lost to evil and darkness. We first want to acknowledge and thank Governor Little for the early promise of financial support that enabled the university to secure our campus and focus on helping our students and our employees in the wake of the crimes. We also appreciate the Idaho State Police and the highly visible security presence that brought comfort and calm to a community shocked and confused by the senseless crimes. We never lost faith that this case would be solved and are grateful for the hard work of the Moscow Police Department and their law enforcement partners. Vast and committed FBI resources brought important expertise to this complex case. Across the board, dedicated, highly competent personnel worked this case to arrest. This crime has nevertheless left a mark on our university, our community, and our state. While we cannot bring back Maddie, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan, we can thoughtfully and purposefully carry their legacy forward in the work that we do. Our students come first, and that was proven each and every day of this investigation. We are committed to safely delivering the college town atmosphere, campus experience, and high-touch quality education for which the University of Idaho.
All right, we have a membership recognition. Christine Brown has gifted a membership, and Mama Styles is now a member of the channel, and you know what we do when new members join. welcome to the membership. And we're going to give you a chair screech too, so.
Steven.
All right, we'll keep playing through.
Idaho is known. With time, we will heal. We will move forward together, and we will remain Vandal strong. With that, I'd like to turn it back over to Chief Fry.
So now we will open the floor to questions. However, I want to remind everyone, as Prosecutor Bill Thompson explained, any factual information regarding the arrest of Kohberger is currently sealed per Idaho law and will not be released until he has appeared in an Idaho court. Please formulate your questions accordingly. I recognize there are a lot of questions, and I will try to answer as many of them as I can.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting, Spokane Public Radio. I realize the records are sealed. I guess I'm not too familiar with how it works, but can you tell us what tip, what lead, what piece of evidence really led you all the way from Idaho to the suspect in Pennsylvania?
As I've said in the past, that's part of our investigation, and we won't be releasing that this time. We will have those answers. We'll have them as soon as we can make those available to you.
Then a quick follow-up and a two-parter. Is our community safe, or is law enforcement still on the search for other suspects who might be involved in this attack?
What I can tell you is we have an individual in custody who committed these horrible crimes, and I do believe our community is safe, but we still need to be vigilant, right? We still have talked about this in the past. We always need to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're aware of what's going on.
That's interesting. Let's go back.
Other suspects who might be involved in this attack.
What I can tell you is we have an individual in custody who committed these horrible crimes, and I do believe our community is safe, but we still need to be vigilant, right? We still have talked about this in the past. We always need to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're aware of what's going on.
That's interesting. Wow. I'm telling you, my mind is going to spin. My mind is going to spin. Yeah.
Hi, Chief. How soon into the investigation did police and law enforcement begin to spot Mr. Kohberger as a potential suspect? And a follow-up, how many tips, if you can say, were specifically related to Mr. Kohberger?
To the tip part, honestly, I can't answer that question, so I'm not even going to speculate on that. On the other part, that's part of our investigation, and it will come out. I'd like the mic to please come right over here.
Military gadgets
Yeah.
are changing people's
Jacked,
physiques
bro. You
and
jacked,
force
bro.
These military
Bro, you
special
jacked.
forces are becoming strong.
Thank you. Dana Griffin with NBC News. Can you confirm that Kohberger asked whether or not anyone else had been arrested when he was in custody?
I cannot confirm that, or I'm not sure of that information, but that would still be a part of our investigation.
Did CODIS initially return any hits on this guy?
That's still part of our investigation. That will come out. If we could get somebody over here, please.
And then one final question. Is there any message to the online sleuths who slandered and harassed people who they believed were responsible?
There was a lot of speculation going on, and we've always said from the very beginning that we're the official message that comes out, and to pay attention to what we're putting out there to the press.
I'm Nancy Liu with News Nation, and we were over at the house this morning, and you told us that the remediation would begin today. It was suddenly stopped. Can you tell us why?
Yes. The house cleanup has been halted, and that came by a legal request from the court.
Christina Corbin, Fox News. Chief, have you identified a motive?
That is part of the investigation, and that will come out as we continue the investigation. But what we still ask is for people to continually send us things in the tip line. we are still looking for more information. We're still trying to build that picture, just like we have stated all along. We're putting all the pieces together, and that will help.
I honestly still don't think they had all the pieces at this point. I think that's why they kept asking for tips.
Chief Veronica Miracle with CNN. Any indication that the suspect knew the victims?
That's part of the investigation as well. It won't be something that will come out at this point in time, but as we continue the investigation and as this case goes to trial, that will be brought forth.
Have you spoken to the families? Can you tell us what they've told you today?
Are you talking the victims' families? Yeah, we have reached out to the victim's family as we always do. We've done that daily, and we've continued to have contact with them.
Hey, Nate Sanford.
I want to do that too. Save me. I'm going to go back and pull up what I can find of all the victims' families as well too, and just kind of take it through a timeline. That was something that I kind of wanted to do this in the series of these videos. And then what I wanted to do, I'm also going to do is go back and take media segments as to like where we're at the time in this case and kind of play through some of those as well too. I think that will be very interesting.
Mentioned earlier that you're still seeking tips about Bryan and that people should still share whatever information they have. Can you speak at all about what specifically?
But keep in mind, as I said, and they talked about this in I think either the first or the second presser, 103 pieces of evidence were taken from that house. And over 5,000 photos were taken as well, along with digital scans of inside and outside of the house. So there's still a lot of evidence that was taken. Now it's like, what are the 103 pieces of evidence that they have? That's what I want to know. And that's what we all want to see now. So again, there's still a lot of evidence to be shown, digital forensic evidence. The car hasn't, we don't know about the processing in the car yet. There's still a lot of things that will come out. The 911 call, I think, is going to be a bombshell as well, too. I think it's going to blow a lot of our minds.
Should be reaching out for, like, if they know something?
I would say anything and everything. As we've said all along.
Yeah, me too.
We know what tips we're looking for. We will take those tips and we will have professionals look at those and decide which pieces of those we need to use for our case. So we ask that everybody would do that.
Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. Your department and other investigators on the case took a lot of flack for keeping information close to your chest.
Karen, I have to agree. I think the case is very solid as well, too. I've said that from the beginning. I know there's been a lot of debate through some of the other YouTubers in the community and all, also the people that watch these channels. But I think it's very solid. And I think as the days go on, things just keep stacking against. Yes, there's some questions that need to be answered, but I feel pretty confident so far.
Are you glad that you did that? And were you worried about tipping the suspect off?
I will 100% stand behind the way that we handled this investigation. And this all started from day one with our patrol officers arriving on scene, locking down the scene, us calling in the Idaho State Police, us calling in the FBI, and keeping information that was pertinent to this case very, very tight. We want to have a situation where when this goes to trial, there is no doubt that we've done everything right and we've slowed down and we've continued to slow down. We'll continue to do that.
Hey, Chief, have you guys found the murder weapon or the Hyundai Elantra?
So we are still looking for all pieces of evidence, but we are still looking for the weapon. And I will say that we have found an Elantra.
Did you know that some websites would be willing to pay $548.14 every day to ordinary people like you?
Well, I want that 548.
Stephanie Becker with CNN. Can you tell what it was like when you got the phone call when the police told you that they had your suspect?
I can tell you for a lot of law enforcement, it was a fairly sleepless couple of days with as we were leading up to everything that we were doing. But what I can tell you is I have faith in those agencies across the nation. I have faith in our officers. I have faith in the FBI, and they did a great job. But sure, there was some times even throughout the day that we were always concerned.
Hi, Chief. Don back at CBS News. Can you talk a little bit more about the suspect's connection to Pennsylvania?
All I know is that he lives in Pennsylvania.
Chief Guy Tannenbaum from Nonstop Local KHQ in Spokane. More about the Elantra. We saw reports that you mentioned that you recovered an Elantra, but can you specify where that was found? And we know that that was one of the biggest pieces of information you were asking from the public to tip. Were you able to provide an information on whether those tips led to this seizure of an Elantra?
That's still part of the investigation that will come out in the future.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
Chief Glenn Mosley, Idaho Public Radio here in Moscow. The additional police presence in town and on campus, semester's coming. Is that going to continue?
You will continue to see state troopers in the area. You know, we're talking to Latah County as well. You will see a presence of us that we're always have up on campus. We have assigned officers to that. So you will continue to see a law enforcement presence. I'm going to take 2 more questions.
And then we got to bounce.
Hi, Chief.
Yeah,
Scott,
that's right.
ABC News.
19,000
Can
tips.
you tell us if you
Just the tip.
eventually had a license
We
plate
want more than
number
the tip.
to the Elantra and how you tracked it to Pullman?
That's still part of the investigation that will come out.
That prosecutor's like, shut the fuck up.
Chief, hi, Matt Lovelace with the Merle College of Communication. I want to ask about Mr. Kohberger as a graduate student at WSU. Are you aware of if he returned to campus after November 13th? And have you had any communication with departments on the WSU campus about his attendance?
Oh, jeez.
So some of that is going to be followed up as we continue our investigation. We'll be asking some of those questions, but that'll come out in the near future. So what I do want to do is I want to thank you all. You really have been the national voice for us. You've given us the opportunity to get many, many tips. And I do appreciate everything you've done. And we'll continue to look forward to working with you in the future on this. So I'd like to thank you for that and thank you for your time.
That's it. Trying to hear what they were screaming. Something about an active crime scene. All right. So there we go. That was the presser from 12/30/22. Now we'll take you to a day later when Chief Fry speaks candidly after the arrest. It's a one-on-one interview. And that was on December 31st, 2022. So it was the day of New Year's Eve. Let me pull that up. We'll go through this one as well.
Been 24 hours since that name, Bryan Kohberger.
Oh, everybody's favorite channel, News Nation.
Publicized it. Are the tips coming in about him?
I can say that the one fact I do know is they told me an hour in.
All right.
Ready to start eating
commercial.
healthier? Meet Kachava. Kachava.
To us releasing the name, we had over 400 people calling in. So we continue to ask for that. We continue to ask for more. Every tip, everybody
Just the
that knew
tip.
him is only going to help us.
Are these tips from here, from everywhere?
I don't know where they came from. You know, if it's any indicative of this case, they've come from all over, you know, the nation.
Okay. Your ask about the white Elantra, that came on December 7th or so. Where in the timeline can you tell us did Kohberger come in onto the radar?
So that's all part of those pieces that we have to hold until we can release information with the, you know, after he gets to Idaho and the release of that information. But we're bound to hold that.
But when you asked for public information about that Elantra, you said the occupants of that car may have critical information. It was plural. Was there a reason for that?
Well, it's part of our investigation. I said early on that we're not going to let any stone go unturned. And I meant that. And we're following up on everything, just like we're in this new phase now. And we're going to follow up to get to know who he is and everything about him that we can.
There are reports that the Elantra was followed across the country. Can you elaborate on that or speak to that, and also reports of DNA, his DNA at the murder scene?
All those facts are still sealed. They will come out. I know people are anxious for that, and we will have the answers to that, but in the time that we can give it. So I ask once again, just be patient. I know I've asked that
He's
a lot
very
of times,
happy.
but and we are bound by the law now.
It's been reported, and we have sources who have told us that Kohberger asked, was anyone else arrested upon his arrest? Have you been able to gather information about when he was taken into custody?
All that information will come out as well. It's part of that investigation. It's part of that next step. So
Okay. The car, the white Elantra, 2015, is it the car? And is the search over now for any more white Elantras?
we believe it is the car.
Okay. Is it in Pennsylvania then?
Yes.
Okay. And is it done being processed?
I don't know if it's done, but it will be processed.
Okay. As you know, I was over at Wazoo yesterday at Kohberger's apartment.
Excuse me.
As the search warrant was being executed, a lot of evidence coming out of there. Can you talk about, what might be valuable?
I think every piece is valuable. And I don't even know what was collected at this point in time. And that's part of that further investigation that we're going to hold. But I know that the search warrant was served there.
We know that the murder weapon has not been found. Is there suspicion that it could have been there?
We don't know. Like I said, we're collecting everything. We're doing our due diligence. And that's why we get these search warrants, so that everything is secured in the court, through the court system, and that we have the right to be where we're at.
You said in a local TV interview, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, that you were still waiting for forensics results to come back. When did they come back? And was that the missing link for Kohberger?
We're still waiting for stuff to come back. We're still looking at everything. We're still having things processed. And I couldn't verify that right now anyway. That's part of that sealed piece. But there's still items coming in from the lab.
From the murder scene?
Correct.
Okay, so the evidence we saw being gathered yesterday, that could take just as long.
That will be new information that we've collected, and we'll be processing that as well.
I asked you during the press conference yesterday about the house cleaning. I mean, you had said in your announcement that the house is going to be cleaned and turned back over to the management company. We watched those trucks come in, and then they pulled out of there real fast.
Yeah.
What happened?
Like we said, we got a phone call that it was through the court that we needed to stop and give a little bit more time, so we did that. So,
why was the decision made to release the house?
well, at that point in time, we were ready to start that process. And then the court, like I said, someone from the court asked us to stop that process, so we did. And we'll continue to do as we're asked there, and we'll start the cleanup as soon as we can again.
Why would the court want that process stopped? Or
it could be many reasons. Could be for the defense counsel, could be.
I'm sorry, I just want to pull this up really quick. Sorry, I've been kind of quiet. I'm texting like one of my best friends, just some important stuff going on. So sorry about that. I get distracted sometime. Let me see. Manny Joe says, yes, we do. Bryan is working on that kind of stuff. What am I? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the chat. What am I working on? What am I supposed to be working on? Fill me in, Mandy. I don't know. We'll keep playing on. Just type in the chat, Mandy. Ultimate platform to communicate. Yeah, so here's the thing. Let's just address this really quick. I can do a Facebook group, but the problem is everybody's first name and their last name is going to be in there. So for me, I think just out of, so someone doesn't get doxxed, I think a Facebook group is not going to be the best thing. I have my Facebook page, but again, it still, if you comment, it puts all your last name information and it gives people access to view your profile. I've set up a Telegram account, but I'm not sure if everybody's on Telegram. And then there's like, what is it? WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is your phone number and your name. And I don't really want to have anybody's phone numbers in there as well. So it's just hard to find an alternate route of communication. And then Discord is really shady too. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I would love to do a, community chat. I think it would still give everybody's first and last name. See, Telegram, you can sign in and then go to your profile and change your name, and it doesn't give your phone number there. So when you sign up into Telegram, you can go into you can go in and change your profile. I know nothing about Discord. That's the thing. When I look at it, it's like reading Reddit to me, and I can't stand reading Reddit. It's just my brain can't sort through it. I think what they're talking about is when we're not on YouTube, if we can all still communicate. That's what we're trying to do, is get a community chat together off like an app that your name won't be given or your phone number won't be given. A lot of these apps that you use, you have to sign in with your name or your phone number or like a Facebook account, which is super annoying. They just won't let you be like anonymous, which is super, super annoying. What, Discord? You need a full-time mob, but I'm sure we can handle it. Yeah, I know nothing about Discord. Mandy, if you want to ever have like a phone call with me, we can walk through it and set it up. I would love that because I know nothing about Discord. I tried doing it before and I'm like, I can't fucking figure this out. But if you want to plan for it, email me. We'll set up some time. If you want to have a phone call about it and get on there and set it up and get the community chat going, if that's what you want to do. So I don't want to pause too much longer here, but I'm going to keep playing through the video.
That they just want to hold it for a little bit. But it was a decision from the court.
So it will remain under guard. Should we refer to it as an active crime scene?
It's still
Well,
on.
if you, like I said, man, if you know about it, email me. Let's set up a phone call. We'll take 15-20 minutes. You can kind of take me through it, show me how it all works, because I know nothing about it, and we'll get the community chat going. I would love to do that.
Our crime scene at this point. So yeah, it'll still be under security.
Okay. I think because of this community, it's a small community, is a factor that a jury pool in this community.
Cool.
would
All
be
right, we'll
hard
try that. I think everybody likes that option.
with
I just need to know how to run it and do it.
And that is one of the reasons that I stated that we are holding everything close. And we
Mandy calls. She's like, and this is where you put your bank information in and your credit card stuff. I put it. Oh, okay, great. All of a sudden, my credit card, my bank account gets all doxed out there.
protecting the integrity of the case. We want unbiased individuals in this case. We want people to not know all the facts so that.
Yeah, I mean, we can do watch parties here. That's the thing. Like, I'm taking a couple of days off around the case. If it's live, I'm going to stream it and of course do it just like every other YouTuber is going to be streaming it that day. And then you'll just have to choose who you're going to come over and hang out with. But I can do all that stuff here. I have a regular job. So it's like when trials are on, I can't just call out of work and be like, oh, I'm going to go home and watch a trial today and stream on YouTube. That's just not going to fly. Okay, let's keep playing.
If there's a jury selected from here that we can get that pool.
How hard would that be? Tell us a bit about, Moscow and how tight, because everybody knows everybody.
She goes on.
No, I'm not sure.
She goes on the run.
We've had cases here before where they've been able to get a jury pool, but that happens with Bill Thompson and his team. So that would be a great question to ask Bill.
Yeah, which we're hoping to get.
Yes.
Okay. Throughout the past 7 weeks, almost all these internets, so we've had Hoodie Guy, we've had the Jacks under suspicion, we've had a professor under suspicion. Did you guys actively investigate these things, and how distracting was that?
We investigated every piece of this investigation. We looked at
I appreciate that.
everybody that we
Thank
believed
you.
was involved or
Yeah,
not
that damn
involved
regular
in
job
any
thing.
way
I
that
know.
knew our
The only way I
case.
could survive
So
is if
we were very
people
active
super
in
chatted me every
so through
single.
that investigation. That's where we get to the point
If I
where
can make my monthly income in super chats and memberships, I'll quit my job and do this full time. Believe me, I would love to be doing this full time.
we can rule.
But it's a
It's
long
as
ways
important
away.
to rule people out as it
It's a
is
very
to
small channel. We only got actually we've grown today. I'd give everybody a sub count 3321. I mean, this channel is growing rapidly, and I think we're going to hit, we're on track for that 5,000 goal by the first pretrial hearing, and then hopefully 10,000 by the end of the year. I would love that. 5,000 is going to feel great. I mean, I'm going to be ecstatic when I get 5,000. 10,000 would be
in the
amazing.
investigation. So as we gathered information that was led us to believe that they were no longer a part of that.
Mamie says, so what you're saying here, Brian, is that you're a hot commodity and people want more than a tip. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe they do. But we're a long ways away from being full-time on YouTube here.
We ruled them out.
The 911 call, can we
Oh, excuse
have
me.
the release soon?
That will come as soon as Bill Thompson and his office feel that is available for the public.
You know what's on that call. We want to hear it. We want to hear it. Come on, Steven. Come on, Steven. We want to hear Steven.
When do you foresee the scene may never not be released? It's indefinite then. I mean, until a trial possibly.
I suppose that could happen. There will be decisions made by people that are probably higher up than me that will need to make those decisions. But I suppose that is a possibility.
Also, the house, the heat has had to stay on. I heard that it needs a new furnace.
Jesus.
And I mean, who is footing the bill for keeping the heat on?
Honestly, I don't have an answer to that question. I don't know if it's through the
It's
management,
kind of a dumb question.
property management, or if it's the owner or what, but someone is.
Okay. I noticed in your video the other day when you announced the cleaning, I mean, you had a slight smile. You seemed a lot lighter. How are you feeling?
Right now,
Like pigs
a
and
lot
shit.
lighter. A lot of people speculated on my facial expressions and stuff. I'm genuinely a pretty upbeat, happy individual. So I smile naturally a lot. I know a lot of people read into that. There was nothing to that. It was just probably me doing it naturally.
But do you feel like a weight's been lifted off your
All
shoulders?
right, let's recognize this $5 super chat from AZ. Says Kai the hatchet wielding hitchhiker says smash, 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 smash the like button. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat.
Great cash, homie.
Appreciate you. Let's give him a let's give him a chair lean. Let's give him a chair lean.
Liar. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
Thank you so much, AZ. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep playing through here.
Now that a suspect is in custody.
There always is. There's always that weight of.
I got to get that
knowing you have a
soundbite.
person in
Smash,
custody,
smash,
and
smash.
I think that gives a great relief to your organization, gives a great relief to your community, and in this case, the state, the nation, and I think even the world.
There's a lot of criticism of the department.
Sweet. We're going to set up the
throughout
Discord. I
that
just
we're
needed
holding so
to
many
talk to
details.
Mandy about it, get it going, and just see all the inner workings of Discord. So if not, if I have to watch a YouTube video on how to do it, I will set the community up, and it looks like you guys are happy with that. So I will get it going. I promise. If I get it going, you guys have to join because I don't want to put all the work into it and no one's going to be in there. So let's get it going.
Close to the vest. Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel, I guess, any pride?
What I feel is we did our job and we did it right, and we said from the beginning we're going to protect the integrity of the case. We're going to continue to do it right, and we're not a prideful group. What we are is
All
a
right.
group that we had a job to do.
We're going to recognize a new member. Jennifer Gilly is a new member. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Your support is I'll get this out. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. You know what we do for the new channel members. Thank you so much.
I got you, homie.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's play on.
We did that, and we are happy that we did it the way we did it
Ron,
because
yeah.
of the outcome.
Hey, Ron.
How hard was it to keep so many details close to the vest?
I think it's always hard. It's emotional at times. We want to give that information. We want to give the families some closure and give them information. We want to give our community, but it is so important to hold that information and keep it right where it was, so that when we made an arrest, and now as we continue further, there'll be more information that we're going to hold till the end, because we want to get it.
I mean, essentially what's going to happen in the Brady Giglio is that probably officer is just not going to be called to testify. That's it. That's it. It happens in a lot of cases. It just dismisses the witness, and that's it. So I don't think it's going to be much of a big deal. If it is, we would have heard more about it now. We would have heard complications in the case by now.
Have you personally talked to the families?
I have personally. It's been a while, but I have talked to them on the phone throughout the first couple of weeks of this.
Okay, and can you tell us about those conversations? I mean, is the
What I wanted to reassure them is that we were going to do everything we could to bring justice for them, for our 4 victims, and for everybody that's involved. And we would try to answer any questions that we could through the process.
what do you have to say to the rest of America, to the rest of the world? I mean, after all the scrutiny that this department has been put through.
Yeah. I would challenge every police organization across the nation to know the importance, even with the pressures that are put on you, the importance of keeping the integrity of the case solid. It's your job. It's what we sign on to do. We sign on to make sure that we do it right. And I challenge other departments to do that.
Early on in the case, you have children who've gone through college. These could have been your children. I mean,
I agree, Michael.
You've been quite emotional about this case. Do you still feel that same raw emotion? Do you feel like you're really fighting this for these young people?
I think we always feel the emotion. I'm a fairly emotional individual. If you've been around me and you get to know me,
Excuse me.
I am that way because I care, and I care a lot. And a lot of us want to give the right answers and do it right, but it is difficult at times.
So the difficulty, talk a bit about the counseling that's been needed in this department. I mean, even for you, you need some time off. I mean, you've been in this for weeks on end.
Yeah. We are building a family here. We started that years ago, and we want, you want to take care of your family. You want to make sure that they're healthy. So we have brought in counselors. I've talked to counselors. I have a great relationship with my wife, who I can, talk to about things. And we promote that. We want our officers to be healthy. We want our families to be healthy. We brought in counselors for the families as well, because we know that
Yes,
it's a solid base. The family becomes a solid base for an officer, and they're the support system, and we want that to be healthy.
So you're saying support for your officers' families?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. What is it about the case that, was it just the endless cycle of, needing to find things and get things and vet up these thousands of tips? What was it about the
Just the
case
tip.
that required counseling?
Well, I think there's a lot of things, it was 4 people murdered with the use of a knife. There's things that you don't forget when you go on any of these calls. And we don't want that to build over time. So we want to get them the help that they can get. We want to have a good, solid structure to help them at home so that when they come back to work, they are ready to serve our community.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna wrap now and tell me what now. We're entering a whole new year and a whole new phase.
Yes.
What now?
Now we get to know who this individual is. We're focused now on who he is. That's why we keep asking people, send us information. If you've known him, if you've dealt with him at any point in time, this is now where we become more laser focused on one thing, and we're going to find out as much information as we can, but we still need our community and people's help.
But just like the ask during the Elantra, I mean, is there anything specific that you're looking for about him that would help you build your case?
We are looking at everything, and I've said that from the beginning. We don't know what small tip may come in that somebody may think is totally irrelevant, but we go, that ties something together for us. And what we're asking is people to give us those pieces and let us work through those to see if that's exactly what we need to help further this case.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
All right. So that was Chief Fry on the 31st. And we will continue on here. I'm going to stream another 50 minutes. Maybe we'll go another hour. What do you want? You want me to keep going, or do you want me to stop at 10:30? Give me a 1 if you want me to keep going. Give me a 2 if I should wrap it up around 10:30. Let me know, because it's your show. The show is for you all. So a 1 if you want me to keep going, a 2 if you want me to stop, because I can go till about 11:30 tonight. All right. I'm seeing a lot of 1s. We're going to keep going. I appreciate it. As long as you all hang out here. Look at all the 1s. I love it. All right. We'll keep going. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right. So here we go. This one here is this. It's Pennsylvania State Police presser on 3/1/23. Let's play through it. Just the tip.
Steven.
Hey, we're going to get a freaking commercial.
I'm Game Warden Joe Pickett.
Okay. Would you? You wouldn't be a size 16, would you? Guy sounded like Buffalo Bill. Be a size 16, would you? Oh, yeah, she was a real big fat woman, was she? Would you? All right, let's skip through this.
How dare you?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Adam Reed. I'm the Director of the Communications Office with the Pennsylvania State Police. Thank you for joining us here. The order of speakers is going to be our Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner, Colonel Robert Ivanchik, Major Christopher Paris, he's our Area 3 Commander, and First Assistant District Attorney, Monroe County, Mike Mancuso.
Yeah, he was so good.
After the speakers have finished, we will then take a handful of questions. Colonel Ivanchik.
Good afternoon. I'm Colonel Robert Ivanchik, Commissioner of the Pennsylvania State Police.
Why'd it get quiet all of a sudden?
While I monitored the investigation into the horrific murders of the University of Idaho students, I did not imagine the investigation would lead to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. My heart goes out to the families of the victims, their friends, the community of Moscow, and the University of Idaho. No words can heal the pain associated with the loss of a child. Their young lives were ended far too soon. In law enforcement, we understand the best thing we can do for victims and their families is to follow every lead, collect every piece of evidence, and bring those responsible to justice. I am proud of the members of the Pennsylvania State Police who were able to help in this investigation. The cooperative relationship between our local, state, and federal partners stands the test of time. The officers, troopers, and federal agents work together tirelessly, putting in long, difficult hours. Communication and cooperation are imperative to success and to ensure the integrity of the case remains maintained. The culmination of that cooperation ultimately led to take the suspect into custody and afforded the families some sense of peace they deserve. I want to thank the Moscow Police Department, the Idaho State Police, and our partners in the Federal Bureau of Investigation for their support, assistance, and coordination. I also want to recognize the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. And finally, I need to acknowledge the members of the Pennsylvania State Police, specifically members of Troop N, our Bureau of Criminal Investigation, and our Bureau of Emergency and Special Operations, who assisted in safely taking the suspect into custody in the early morning hours of December 30th. As previously indicated by Chief James Fry of the Moscow Police Department, specific details regarding this investigation cannot be released until the suspect is extradited to Idaho and presented with the probable cause affidavit. At this time, I will turn the microphone over to Major Christopher Paris, commander of Area 3, who was involved in the coordinated efforts to take the suspect into custody.
Thank you, Colonel. Area 3 comprises troops F, P, N, and R, and is made up of 1,000 approximately of the women and men, civilian and enlisted, in the northeastern part of Pennsylvania. I'd like to introduce to my left Captain Norm Kramer, who's the commander of Troop N Hazelton, which is
I'll kick all you fuckers out of here.
comprised of Carbon, Monroe, Columbia, and parts of Luzerne counties. I would like to reiterate, as the Colonel said, that Idaho law prohibits any release of information contained in the affidavits. So we're going to do our best today to talk about what phase we are currently in the investigation. And it has entered a new phase with the waiver for extradition. And the continuing primary goal is the seeking of justice through successful prosecution and conviction, bearing the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So with that in mind, we're trying to balance essentially two things: the public's desire for information against the need to maintain the integrity of the investigation and protect the suspects, accused at this point's due process. So I'll now attempt to give you an operational picture with the best information I can release at the time. So this begins when the Pennsylvania State Police Bureau of Criminal Investigation troopers were contacted by the FBI about assisting with surveillance of the accused in this case. I'd like to take the opportunity to specifically thank several individuals. Special Agent in Charge Jackie McGuire and Assistant Special Agent in Charge Dave Carter from the Philadelphia Field Division, as well as Supervisory Special Agent Bill Vigorito of the Scranton RA. We're very lucky in PSP to have a collaborative relationship with the Bureau, both in Pennsylvania and beyond. And their people are absolutely excellent.
I actually really like
So
it.
as the investigation progressed, Troop N Criminal Investigation Section, commanded by Captain Kramer over my left shoulder here, began to collaborate with authorities in Idaho. Specifically, I'd like to acknowledge Lieutenant James Curto, who was here today, Sergeant Anthony Ferdinand, Corporal John Chulak, who is not present with us, and Troopers Leary and Knoll, who are here with us today. It was through this collaboration and the charges pending in Idaho that those troopers were able to obtain
I'm very
search warrants
single.
and a fugitive from justice warrant that was prepared here in Monroe County for the location in Chestnut Hill Township and the fugitive from justice warrant for Mr. Kohberger, respectively. I'd like to acknowledge the Monroe County District Attorney, David Christine, as well as First Assistant Mike Mancuso and their entire office. The support that we received was absolutely excellent. Once those warrants were obtained, the Bureau of Emergency and Special Operations, BESO, coordinates our Special Emergency Response Team, CERT. They were selected to serve those warrants, the 3 search warrants and the fugitive from justice warrant. To define what CERT is, it's a full-time tactical team maintained by PSP to deal with high-risk warrant situations, barricades, and other incidents requiring specialized tactical training or other capabilities. From their perspective, we essentially task them to go out and serve a arrest warrant for someone accused of a quadruple murder. They're activated several hundred times a year throughout the Commonwealth. We don't typically hear of their work in a forum like this because they serve the warrant, the person's taken into custody, and they go about their assignment. They are the ultimate professionals. It's a volunteer team. They're highly trained and highly motivated. Captain Norm Kramer over my left shoulder was assigned as the top comm for the CERT activation, which means he was responsible for coordinating our tactical preparations. So tactical assets were then staged in the county, in Monroe County, into the evening of Thursday, December 29th, last Thursday. And in the early hours of
You
Friday,
ladies,
December 30th, those warrants
you're
were
all
executed at the location.
stirring mischief up.
Mr. Kohberger was taken into
Mischief.
custody without incident. The scene was turned over to the FBI evidence response team for processing. Mr. Kohberger was then turned over to the Monroe County Prison, where he has remained in their custody since. I'd like to thank the Monroe County Sheriff and the Stroud Regional Police Department for their support.
Dude, imagine if they went in to arrest him and he started like firing on them. That'd be crazy. That would be nuts.
As well during the extradition process. Arrangements
He's like,
currently are being made to deliver Kohberger back to Idaho, where he can have continued due process and face these charges. With that, I will turn it over to First Assistant Mike Mancuso.
Dr. Bob.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike Mancuso with the DA's office, the First Assistant District Attorney. I want to give
all that
my
tip talk.
condolences to the families of the victims out in Idaho.
Yeah,
the
I think
loss.
so too.
It's my sincere hope that this marks a clear step in the right direction.
And I think that he brought a lot of evidence with him from Pullman in Moscow back to Pennsylvania
Effectuating justice
to get it as far as away as he could.
My office's role was relatively recent.
easy.
We weren't advised of the presence of the defendant in our county until only a couple days before the apprehension of the defendant. But when we were told, we came together and worked very closely.
We can always start a book
with
club.
Captain Kramer, who did an excellent
Good night,
job
Cranky. Thank you.
in,
Good night.
almost like a
Good night.
clockwork operation.
We'll see you on the next one.
Part of my duties were to ensure that 3 separate search warrants were issued. Those affidavits attached to those search warrants are still under seal, so I can't discuss their contents with you. But one was for the person of Mr. Kohberger, collecting DNA and photographs, that sort of thing. One was for the white Elantra
Yeah,
vehicle,
that's a good thought, Laura.
which I understand has been seized and is being processed. And one was for the arrest, the residence itself that he was living in with his family. I was at the scene, and I have to say that
Excuse me.
Major Paris and Captain Norm Kramer did an outstanding job in coordinating the efforts, not only of the numerous Pennsylvania State police troopers there, but officers from other jurisdictions and disciplines within those jurisdictions to make this a very smooth, highly competent professional operation. It is a quirk, apparently. It's not in the norm of the states I'm familiar with that Idaho does not release their probable cause affidavit in support of their arrest warrant until after their defendant is returned to that state. But having read those documents and the sealed affidavits of probable cause, I definitely believe that one of the main reasons the defendant chose to waive extradition and hurry his return back to Idaho was the need to know what was in those documents.
I think so too.
So that's a significant development. Beyond that, looking at the scope of the
No, but she
the
spoke on it
situation and
briefly.
the ties this defendant has to my county, I would hold our office at the disposal of the Idaho authorities to help facilitate a complete background investigation into the defendant, both activities prior to the murders occurring within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and his activities after the murders.
Jersey.
in Pennsylvania. So we stand ready to assist with that effort on an ongoing basis. Thank you.
We can now open it up for questions.
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear.
Did, or can you give us any indication as to the operations of state police when you were notified? You talked about putting tactical in the area. How long were they there? And what's the
We're not in a position to give you an exact
Oh my
time.
God,
It was
that's
at
so
some
loud.
point prior to when the surveillance was taken, as the investigation progressed to a point where search warrants could be obtained, and the probable cause for those search warrants and an arrest warrant, a fugitive from justice warrant based on the arrest warrant out in Idaho were obtained. We began to take the tactical steps to plan to serve them.
Jersey is the Garden State.
At this point, like we said, it's very much pertinent to what's in the affidavits, which we cannot speak about.
What's known about his demeanor when the arrest actually happened?
Present sense impression, as likewise ongoing investigation, can't discuss.
Robin, 69 News, how is Kohberger being transported back to Idaho?
Those arrangements are being discussed right now, as well as the logistics. The court order says, those of you who heard it today, it's within the next 10 days. So we're currently working on that in coordination with authorities out in Idaho. Sorry,
The defendant's mother in Kohberger.
I can't comment. I don't know.
Is he being held in the Monroe County Jail until he's extradited, or is he removed to another?
No, he is lodged in since he was dropped off there Friday morning. He's resided in Monroe County.
He's
Correct, yes.
extradited, he'll be-
Which group?
At this point, that's still being coordinated between the state police and the authorities out there. We don't know.
Will the affidavit be unsealed when he arrives in Idaho?
I don't want to speak out of my lane. When I watched the press conference on Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I was alerted to the fact that according to Idaho state law, that the affidavits have to be served to him once he's extradited back before they can be unsealed.
Did he say, has anyone else been arrested?
Ongoing investigation.
Has a motive been determined?
I can't comment on that either. I apologize.
Who transports him, sir? Does Pennsylvania State Police, the Monroe County Sheriff's Department?
He's presently back. He was transported from the courthouse by Monroe County Sheriff. And the logistics of who's going to transport him out to Idaho are still being discussed. We don't know.
Can you confirm the time of his arrest and how much law enforcement presence there actually was?
I would say it was in the early morning hours of Friday, December 30th. Tactical assets on scene were probably in the neighborhood of 50.
Were you afraid he was going to get tipped off before you got him?
I'm just going to comment on this really quick. I don't know why his feelings get hurt so easy. The dude has 70,000 subscribers on his channel. I would be elated every day if I came and had 70,000 subscribers on my channel. That's all I'll say on that.
I would say overall about this entire operation, and the credit goes, this is a part that the state police.
Well, he does love
played
Jesus.
Humbly. You look at Moscow Police Department, 38 sworn, 19,000 leads. The video.
I'm not
evidence
saying
that
here or
they had
there.
to develop in order to. put
Everybody
that out,
has
all
their own
public
channel.
source information. But when you talk about the service of a high-risk warrant for someone who's committed or alleged to have committed 4 homicides, there's nothing routine about that. And all of those tactical steps that were taken.
Honestly, you know what? I'm just going to kind of lay this out here. And I talked about this the other day. I'm not going to talk about other people's channels. I just need to focus on my channel and focus on my subscribers and creating quality content. Everybody else is free to do what on their channel that they are free to have whoever on their channel. I align myself with certain people in this atmosphere. You all know who that is. I feel confident enough, and I enjoy those people as their company, and I've been very vocal about it. Drunk Turkey Show, of course, I align myself with them, and I really enjoy Publicly Buzzed as well too. So those are kind of the channels that I tend to align myself with, and everybody else can have their own thing. I don't really want to talk about other channels. It's just not it's not my thing. I'm an adult. This is not a competition. Some people might see him as a competition. Look, if you think I'm any type of competition, it's crazy to even think that way. We all are in this for the same thing. At least I know why I'm in this. I want to see this case get to justice. I want to see justice for the 4 victims and individuals and all the families in that community that have been hurt by this and will forever be hurt by this. The bottom line is this: people don't realize why we're here doing this. This is for remembrance and this is for justice. And I think a lot of people in this community, if you want to call it a community, do it for clout and do it to paper chase. I'm not one of those people. You all know my story. You know why I do this. I care. And again, I align myself with channels that I feel fit and I feel that are doing it with good intentions. Daniel is an amazing investigator. If I only had his brain in to investigate, I would love that. You know, he's a really great person. I enjoy spending time on his channel. I enjoy learning from him. And, you know, that's really why I'll just kind of stop all that conversation. But we don't need to get into it. You know who I align myself with. You know the channels that I enjoy. I don't watch any other true crime channels. I've said that because one, I want to have my own material. I don't want to worry about what everybody else is doing. And I think that's what's starting to happen lately. I feel like there's some eyes on me. I see some people in the chats, like people checking me out. I'm getting messages from people. I don't really care about all that shenanigans. Again, all I care about is coming on live on the nights that I come live, providing good quality content for all of you and interacting with all of you. So we'll leave it at that. I don't get wrapped up in the politics of YouTube. It's just too silly.
Efforts of the authorities, local, state, and federal, both in Idaho and here, to ensure
Just
that we can do
goofy.
it safely,
We're all adults.
and to ensure that we
Do it
can
for the right
get
intentions,
into
or don't do it at
custody
all.
and that those service or the search warrants could occur.
Sir, can we ask you a question of the first assistant district attorney? Mr. Mancuso, you described having read to a degree the contents of that affidavit of probable cause, and that you possibly speculated or theorized that he wanted to get back to read that as well, since he can't read that. Can you give us an indication, though, of the seriousness of what you did read? I know you can't talk about it, but can you share
Teresa.
Yeah, I can't get into the details, sir, but I can say it involved.
All right. I don't want
the,
to go too much more into that
connection
stuff. We'll
to the
just,
scene
we'll
of the
pass on that
crime
and focus here tonight.
consisting of 4 murdered people. So that's the significance of it.
Can you confirm that there is a connection between Bryan Kohberger and any of the victims?
I can't discuss that.
How confident are you that he is guilty of these crimes?
That wouldn't be my place to say. Certainly confident enough that there was ample probable cause for the issuance of the various warrants in the case.
What was your reaction when you heard this? You've all talked about, you followed this. This happened states away. When you get that call, or you all get the call, that this person could be right here in your home area, what's your reaction?
Well, I was surprised, really, Monroe County of all places. It hits close to home. It's a normal human reaction.
Thank you, P. Fox. Appreciate you.
Do you know when he and his father left Idaho or Washington and drove to Pennsylvania, what that date was?
No, I don't know the exact date.
Approximately, we understand the middle of December. Is that correct?
I think that's approximate.
What about, we heard reports that they were stopped not once but twice on the highway. Can you elaborate?
I'll defer to his Pennsylvania public defender on that.
Do you have reason to believe that Kohberger is connected to other crimes and unsolved mysteries in the area?
I wouldn't answer that question at this time.
Looking at some that may be unsolved, where do you move it on?
That would be a normal thing to do.
Question for the BSP here. Said he was taken without incident. Was it safe to say that, I shouldn't say it's safe to say, but did it seem like he was expecting it?
I wouldn't comment on what his present sense was. I would just comment that the professionalism of the CERT team and their tactical training definitely proved in a situation like this to do it in the most tactically sound and fastest way possible.
Was there anybody else in the house at the time?
His parents were in the house at the time.
Did they say anything to you?
Again, present sense impression. I can't comment on that ongoing investigation.
You break down the door.
Force was used. The warrants were issued for evening search warrants, which in Pennsylvania requires additional probable cause in order to serve them at the hours of darkness. I would defer to the first assistant to talk about the legal burden that you bear in order to obtain those. But from a tactical standpoint, based upon all of the briefings that we had developed and all of the intelligence we had developed, we thought that was the best time to serve it.
What tipped off that Pennsylvania was involved with this?
We were alerted by the FBI. Troopers in the Bureau of Criminal Investigation were alerted.
Anything on like the social media pages that tipped anything?
I can't comment. I don't know. Can't comment. Ongoing, like I said. State Police's role here was to serve the warrants and assist with the surveillance, which we've done. We've been part of major investigations. You know, these are men and women who take an oath to protect their communities and the Commonwealth here. We're very humbled with the opportunity that we had, given a case that has really gained international attention, to play a small part in it. And our hat is off to Moscow PD again with the size and the complexity of this investigation and the work that they've done to get us here today. And this is only the beginning of the next step.
Shade.
Here in Pennsylvania, either help him heal or dispose of any evidence.
Thank
Would it
you.
be a part of his case, or would it go?
I appreciate
would say that
you.
We would pledge whatever support we can for ongoing investigations with the Idaho authorities here in Pennsylvania. Absolutely. We would help them in any way we could.
Were there any weapons found in the home?
I don't want to get into what was actually seized in the house pursuant to the evidentiary nature of it.
Can you give any insight into why you all decided to go in overnight?
Those are tactical decisions in terms of base surveillance. I don't want to give out too many tactical factors that go into that situation, but obviously surveillance was conducted and we wanted to go in at a time when we thought it would be the safest for everybody, safest for anybody else in the house, safest for Mr. Kohberger, and safest for our people.
There was an interesting question asked earlier about the care that needed to be taken to not tip the suspect off. Could you describe how long that lid had to be on things and how many people were involved in it? Like how many people knew and for how long?
So I would say, I would answer the question this way. I don't want to get into a timeline in terms of when we were notified by the FBI, when the surveillance began. Obviously,
I want to bring this up really quick. Shani says, I just have to say, I'm all kinds of messed up with speculation since I heard you mention the hostage theory, speculation, conspiracy with the remaining roommates and the 8-hour theory. Yeah, that's something that I talked about with, I don't know if Laura's still here in the chat. Her and I were having a conversation the other night, and it was weird. We just we're just throwing some theories out there. And I said, wait a minute. Is it possible that Bryan Kohberger could have taken DM hostage, takes her from the house, gets her in the car? There's that long 2-hour drive back. Maybe he's wrestling with her in the car or something, or figuring out what he's going to do with her, takes him back to his apartment. But they have video. Didn't they have video of him driving back into his apartment building? So you would have seen the car, and I'm not sure about that, if I can remember. But, there was that theory that we kind of threw out there. Maybe he took her hostage, and then that was why he came back at 9 o'clock in the morning, dropped her off. For some reason, he doesn't kill her, So, it was just something that we were throwing around. Yeah, Laura. Yeah, we were having this conversation the other night. It could be a possible theory. Maybe that's what's on the 911 call. I know who it is. It's Bryan Kohberger. He was a friend of mine. I know he did this. Maybe it's Dylan on the call. Again, I'm just throwing an opinion theory out there. I don't think it's really conspiracy because we're just speculating, but maybe she's going, I know who it is. It's Bryan Kohberger. He's the one that took me. He held me for 8 hours and brought me back. It could be a possible theory. I don't know, but it's something to think about as well too.
we know on Thursday night into Friday morning is when the warrants were served. I would say, as a credit to the professionals, both standing behind me and others not here, many others not here, the information was held very close. And we did not want to have any situation where Mr. Kohberger potentially would be tipped off. So as a result of that, I would say a close number of approximately 7 to 8 individuals, maybe 10 on the most within the PSP side of this operation knew about it.
And for days, can we say?
Yeah,
I've thrown for a period of time.
I did that video on that, Karen. I don't know if you watched it, but I did talk about that in the video, this theory as well, too. Maybe he walked by her and he says, I know who you are. Give me your fucking ID. If you tell anybody, I'm going to come back and kill you. Or I have your ID, I'll turn you in and say that you helped me. something like that. I did say that in that video that I made about the IDs. So these are all really great plausible theories. I love all this stuff. Well, why did who else took IDs? BTK Killer. He took IDs as well. I know you're saying survivors, but maybe he wanted that as a token, as a memento.
Not feel comfortable commenting any more than that for a period of time. And then as the tactical assets were brought in, people were briefed.
Movement plan is finally decided. Will there be an announcement?
Not from the state police. We would defer to Moscow and the authorities in Idaho.
Starts leaving Pennsylvania.
We have security concerns now.
Hey, Crossroads, you want to be my accountant? Crossroad tax, accounting and tax. Yeah, it would have taken a long time to arrest him if he kidnapped anyone. Come do my taxes. Get me my write-offs.
Somebody from a secure prison.
Get me my channel write-offs.
Place, we don't want to. There won't be an announcement from the state police in terms of those logistics, but they're being worked on right now.
Can you confirm yet when you think he might be moved roughly? Tomorrow?
We would like to do it as soon as possible, but the court order says 10 days. We have 10 days to coordinate it.
Can you possibly be on a plane tonight? Is it possible he could be on a plane tonight? That's a possibility, right?
I can't. I would think that's probably not likely. We're looking into that right now.
Can you confirm or deny that a window was broken in order to gain access into the home?
There were multiple windows that were broken, I believe, to gain access, as well as multiple doors.
Wait a minute. Oh, all right. They're talking about Pennsylvania. I was like, wait a minute. If they're talking about Moscow, like, wait a minute. We got to back up here. There were windows that were broken.
Video of the house after the fact confirms that, and that would all be part of the tactical plan.
You want to be my deduction?
The house, etc.
We'll be your deduction.
CERT operators would do to serve those warrants.
So I'm working with another YouTube client. I might be able to help. Laugh out loud.
Are you looking at
Love the content. Yeah, I mean, email me, reach out to me, tell me what you do. You can email me at theopinionatedidiot at gmail.com. I'd love to hear what you guys what you can do.
Past, according to the UJS, I didn't see anything.
I can't comment on a person's criminal history during an ongoing investigation.
Sorry, Mr. Mancuso said that you stand ready to.
He's getting ready to leave. He closed that book up. Peace.
What specifically is law enforcement interested in?
That'll be the last question after Mr. Mancuso answers.
In any case of this nature, and I prosecuted a fair share of homicides, double homicides, that sort of thing. You want to look at any evidence of possible motive. You want to look at any evidence of a pattern, of modus operandi or method. You want to get into the subject's character, mental state to the best you can, that sort of thing. So it'll be an all-encompassing effort, which we stand ready for. Okay. We have our ways.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
That's it. All right, we're done with that presser there. All right, we're going to finish up here. I'm actually going to be able to finish the whole stream that I had planned for tonight. I just want to get another up on the board. Thank you so much for all those new subscriptions of everybody that's in the chat, subscribing to the channel and giving these the thumbs up. And we have almost 150 likes this night on this stream. By the way, I want to let everybody know I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching this, you're watching it live. And what I do is I pull those episodes down, I re-upload them, and push them into the algorithm. If you're not watching this live, when I re-upload it, you won't be able to see the chat simultaneously, but you will be able to see the chats that I bring up. So we do appreciate you hanging out. Also this week, I won't be streaming on Tuesday. I have something important that I need to do. So I'm going to bump that stream to Wednesday night, but I will be back on Thursday. So just keep informed. You know that I put all the tiles up to keep everybody informed. But let's get through the rest of the program. We're going to shut this down probably right around 11:30-ish or so. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. Next one I have is Bryan Kohberger appears in Pennsylvania court, and that was on 1/3/23. So let's pull that up. And this is him arriving in court. It's a very short video, but we'll get to see some video of Kohberger for the first time here. Let's play through this.
Bryan, did you do it?
How are you feeling?
How you feeling, Bryan? Why did you do it?
Are you ready to go to Idaho?
Why did you do it?
I still think this guy is pretty strong. I still think he's pretty athletic, pretty strong. I know that he's got a vest on, but he's got very long arms. He's fairly tall, looks pretty athletic, and I think he has what I call like that retard strength. So, I mean, I think he's actually a pretty strong guy, believe it or not.
Are you ready to go to Idaho?
Why did you do it? You last time in Pennsylvania, Bryan.
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, these are old. Yep, these are old videos. What we're doing is we're going back to the beginning. That's the theme of the videos here on these live streams. So if you caught the beginning of the stream and you caught yesterday's stream, this is what we've been doing here, is going back to the beginning and maybe seeing some things that we haven't heard, or seeing some things that we may be able to investigate now that we're so far forward in the case. As I spoke beginning in the stream, they talked about in the first two presses that there's 103 pieces of evidence that was collected at King Road that we haven't even heard about yet. And I had totally forgot about that. And also they took over 5,000 photos at the King Road residence. So it was good to go back and refresh our minds. And I'm very curious to see all that evidence as trial comes up. So that's what we're doing here. We're going back. All right. So that's Kohberger coming into the court, and then we will have his appearance in court for the first time on camera. Let's pull that up here. And here we go. We're going to hear him speak for the first time.
All right.
Thank you, Shay. Appreciate you.
We're on the record in the Second Judicial District, Latah County. This is the Magistrate's Division of District Court. This is State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger, cause number CR 29222805. Mr. Kohberger is present in court. He is in custody. He is appearing with his attorney, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for initial appearance. Mr. Kohberger, I am going to advise you of the rights that you have in this case. I am going to go over the criminal complaint.
One thing I want you to notice in this too is that he doesn't blink very much. And that's a kind of a weird sign. And I know I've watched some things about body, what's the word I'm looking for? Body language analysis. And not blinking a lot is pretty psychotic behavior. So, he has that blank stare, almost like a shark eyes.
And then we're going to discuss setting the matter for further hearing. You have the following rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence.
Thank you.
That means the state bears the burden to prove that you are guilty of this offense beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. At that hearing, the state must establish that more.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, it didn't even hurt.
The best way to burn fat and get in shape. It's not keto, paleo, fasting, or vegan, and it's not super in.
Tell me, bro.
More likely than not, these felony offenses were committed, and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. You have a right to have that hearing within 14 days if you remain in custody. If you are bound over
His
at
cheekbones
that
moving.
preliminary hearing to district court,
He's like
if the
clenching
court
his
finds
teeth.
probable cause,
See
you
it?
would be bound over to district court. And at that time,
See it right
you
here?
can
He's
enter a
clenching
plea
his
of not
teeth.
guilty, and you can have a jury trial set with
Let's
over
go
to
back.
district court. And at that time, you district
Watch the
court.
clenching in the
If
teeth.
court
He's
finds
clenching
probable
his
cause,
teeth.
You would be bound over to district court. And at that time, you can enter a plea of not guilty, and you can have a jury trial.
Let's recognize this super chat. I got a $3 super chat from Wild Cherry. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel.
I got you, homie.
All right.
Set within 6 months of your appearance in district court. At both your preliminary hearing and your jury trial, you have the right to confront and question any evidence or witnesses called against you. Call witnesses on your own behalf and compel witnesses to be present and testify at the state's expense. You have the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, one could be appointed to represent you based upon your financial need. You also have the right to appeal any conviction in your case. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
I am now going to go over the criminal complaint with you.
$5 super chat coming through. Christine says, what is it about this? What is this about a date? Yeah, I do get out and date. I'm sorry. Just it is what it is, but we'll give it to him.
I got you, homie.
Thank you.
Count 1 of the criminal complaint charges you with the felony offense of burglary. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder in violation of Idaho Code 18-1401 and 1403. The maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is not less than 1 year in prison, no more than 10 years in prison, and or a $50,000 fine or both. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 2 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did
Rascally
willfully,
rabbits.
unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died. In violation of Idaho
Yes,
Code
she does know.
18-4001,
That's something I disclosed very early on when we started talking, and she's perfectly fine and supportive of it, believe it or not.
400
Because it is part of my life. You know, this is something that I do and I enjoy doing.
2, 4003, and 4004. The maximum penalty for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is death or
She's watched
imprisonment for
before.
life.
She doesn't
Do you
type.
understand?
Yes.
Count 3 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation.
I will say this. This guy is very hyper aware of what's around him. I'm going to go back just a little bit here, and I want you to see his eye movement where he knows where that camera is. He's going to peek at it really quick, and it's going to be kind of hard to see, but you'll see it. It'll come out of his right eye. He looks over at the camera very quick as he's answering questions. Let's take a look.
The first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022.
It's right there.
Latah County, state
I don't know
of
if you
Idaho,
saw it. He peeked over his right.
It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022.
Right there.
Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with
He looked at the camera.
and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Gonsalves.
Let's go back again.
Of 2022.
Right there,
Latah County,
when she
state
says
of- the defendant,
2022.
Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022.
Right there.
Latah
He looked
County,
at the
state of
camera.
Idaho,
He's
Did
very
willfully,
hyper aware.
unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Gonsalves, a human being, by stabbing Kaylee Gonsalves, from which she died. In violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is death.
And another time you're going to see him look at the camera as well. When I play the next video, when he comes out of court and he walks out, he side eyes the cameras as well there too. He's very hyper
and/or
aware.
imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 4 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C.
Well, he knows
Kohberger,
law.
on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died, in violation of Idaho
Thank you,
Code
Mitchell.
18-4001.
Appreciate you. Mitchell says, first time I've talked in the chat, but you keep picking up on the same things I am. You're very aware. Thank you. Appreciate that.
4002, 4003, and 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and
No
or
blinking.
imprisonment for
Look.
life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 5 alleges that you committed the felony
Exactly.
offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Bryan C. Kohberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died, in violation of Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. And again, the maximum penalty for this offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
And Mr. Kohberger, would you like to represent yourself, hire a lawyer, or see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
I have court-appointed counsel.
Court has reviewed your application for attorney at public expense. I do find that you are indigent and do qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will appoint Ms. Taylor to represent you in this case. Ms. Taylor, we have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Kohberger about speedy preliminary hearing and setting this matter.
Your Honor, I have, we would ask the court to set the status hearing in a week or two to make a final determination.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine, state, Your Honor.
I will go ahead and set this matter for a status hearing then on the calendar on January 12th at 10 o'clock a.m. We will make sure notice is sent, and then Ms. Taylor, do you wish to argue bail at this time?
Your Honor, I would like to ask the court to consider setting a bond. Mr. Kohberger right now is on a no bond hold, but it's a limited request. I don't have enough information. We are new to the case. We haven't reviewed very much in the way of information about the case, and we have done our own work on the case. But we would want the court to know that Mr. Kohberger has a good family that stands behind him.
And Mr. Thompson.
You know, the state's position is that Mr. Kohberger is not entitled to bond in this case. The charges, as is noted on the arrest warrant itself. Under Code 19-816, 19-2903, both specify that given potential penalties in this case, there's no right to bail. Bennett was arrested 3,000 miles away across the country, where his family is. We ask that he remain in custody. No bail.
At this point in time, pursuant to Idaho Criminal Law 46B and Idaho Code 19-816 and 2903, I am going to leave the bail set at this case as no bail at this point in time until I have additional or further information at a later date and time. So with that, then Mr. Kohberger, you will be remanded in custody and remain in custody on the no bail pending further proceedings in this matter. Is there anything further in the case then for today, Mr. Thompson?
Commissioner, the state is asking for no contact orders for various family members of deceased and also for surviving roommates. I spoke briefly with Ms. Taylor. She indicated there's no objection.
And Taylor, is that
What was
correct?
the surviving roommates?
No contact orders for various family members of deceased and also for surviving roommates.
Okay.
Briefly with Ms. Taylor. She indicated there's no
So there was no contact orders put in place. He could not communicate with the victim's families or the surviving roommates. Okay, interesting.
And Taylor, is that correct?
That is correct.
So I will go ahead and issue those no contact orders. So I do have a no contact order then for the named individual of Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, as well as the family members and
Imagine if she was like your friend, Dylan Mortensen, your friend, Bethany Funk. Oh man, I'd be like,
Stephen,
what?
the family members of Ms. Kernodle, excuse me, Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogan, Ms. Cheeley, and then a number of members of the Gonsalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Kohberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of and what will be in this no contact order is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through a third person in writing or by any electronic means.
Yeah, I know.
You cannot
It's crazy, huh?
Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise any form of.
Oh, wait a minute.
Cannot.
Let me just pull this chat up and then I want to talk about the communication that he's not allowed to communicate with them. She said Snapchat and there was a couple other things. And isn't that ironic that they pulled search warrants for those particular types of apps? Let me just pull this up. Jamie says if he is guilty of brutally murdering them, he is so cool and calm sitting there. He's totally forgotten about and his move on. And this is just one of the big, huge inconvenience to his entire week. You know what I urge you to go look at, Jamie, if you have a time? Take a look at BTK Killer when he actually confessed in court and watch his calm demeanor through that entire confession. So it's something to take a look at. But thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I do appreciate that.
Great cash, homie. I got you, homie.
All right, let's keep playing on here.
Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram.
Let me just pull this up really quick. I have another $5 super chat from George. Says, thanks, Bryan. Good job. Keep it up. Appreciate you, George. Thank you so much.
Cash, homie. I got you, homie.
All right. Yes, absolutely, Amber. Okay, let's keep playing through, and then we have a couple more videos, really short videos, and we're going to wrap this puppy up at about 11:30.
Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise. Snapchat, Twitter,
Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram.
Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or
No
otherwise.
phone.
Any form of communication in direct or indirectly with them.
Gee, isn't it ironic? Instagram was called out for him communicating with some of the victims. There was warrants pulled on Snapchat, and what was the other one?
use the phone to communicate with them.
Phone.
In writing. Or
So no writing,
writing electronic means.
no electronic means would be like email.
Cannot Facebook, Snapchat,
No Facebook. There were warrants pulled on Facebook,
Twitter,
Instagram, all those were pulled.
Use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise any form of
Interesting.
in direct or indirectly with them. You cannot engage in any conduct that would harass, stalk, threaten, use, attempt to use, or threaten to use any physical force or violence upon them, or place them
Exactly.
in danger of bodily injury. Cannot go within.
That's
or
my
go in
point.
their name within
That's why I said it.
10 feet of their person or their home.
And that's why I think it's very good to go back and look at all these old pressers, because you're going to pick up things that we know now that were said back then that we might have not have looked at deeply.
Or any other place where they might be. There are no exceptions to these orders. And if you do violate these orders, it is a new misdemeanor offense. It is punishable by up to a year in jail and or a $1,000 fine or both. At this point in time, due to being in the magistrate's division here, at this juncture, I am going to issue the no contact orders for a period of 2 years. And then if it needs to be modified or changed by additional judge,
Easy.
it can be done so at that time. Is there anything further, Mr. Thompson? Anything further, Ms. Keeler? All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
That's it. He's going to get pulled out of court here now. We will see him. Also, something I want you to see as well, that he's very mindful. I know it's very hard because these tiles are here. He actually pushes, he looks back and pushes his chair in. And that's what I said. He's very hyper aware. He knows his environment around him. Let's go back really quick and watch him get up. And you'll see him look back and push his chair in. And the push the chair is there. Okay, so we had Kohberger there coming out of court. This is him leaving court just after that. You can see here he's very hyper aware and he eyeballs the camera. I think we just missed it. It's right there. He eyeballed the camera to the right. You'll see it right. Oh, let me back up a little bit more. Right here. You'll see the photographer right there. And that's him leaving. And now we'll get to see him actually leave the courtroom out into the van. I mean, he's a relatively big guy. He's very tall. I know the vest is adding some weight, but I mean, he's got very long arms. And you know, like I said, I think he's got some strength there. I think there's some strength. He's very broad in the shoulders. Even though that chest protector's there, he's very broad across the shoulders. He's a tall guy. And that's Kohberger leaving. Okay, so I got one more video to play through. I'm not going to play the entire thing. I'm probably just going to fast forward up to the particular part. And this is when Kohberger lands back in Idaho after his extradition. So we're going to play this here. You can see the plane actually come in Let me see. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. That's the plane landing. Okay. Let's take it to here. I'm probably not going to play the sound because it just kind of muddles. But if you guys want to chat during this, you can. We'll kind of play this in the background. I'm going to take those out because I don't need those anymore. And then we'll finish up here just in a couple of minutes. I want to thank everybody this evening for hanging out. We're at about the 2.5 hour mark. 148 people watching this evening. If this is the first time over on the channel, please make sure to subscribe if you really enjoy this content. We're going to play through a couple more parts in this theme, you know, kind of looking back at the case. I have some other things planned for my Wednesday stream. I may bump that just over to Thursday. We'll see how things go, but you'll see the tile come up, and I always do the communication on my community page, through my YouTube group, and also on my Facebook group, and through Twitter as well too. If you enjoy this content, please make sure to hit the upvote button, like I said, and subscribe. If you want to be a channel member and support, you can hit the join button down there below. I have memberships for less than a cup of coffee for $1.99 a month. Of course, all the money goes back into this channel to create a better experience for all of you. If you're watching this right now, it's probably on a replay. I do re-upload all these streams and push them out into the algorithm to bring more people and expose this, you know, to a larger, greater audience on YouTube. So let me fast forward here a little bit. Oh, we got a commercial. All right, let's see. Get to walking Kohberger out. Here we go. We got Kohberger now being taken from the plane. You see him doing his perp walk there. Gee, I wonder what that was like, you know, just kind of sitting with them there on the plane. Of course, I don't think there's much happy conversation going on, but I wonder if there was any conversation going on, or if he just stayed silent the whole time and just gave basics like I gotta use the bathroom, or I'm hungry, or something like that. It'd be really interesting to know that. Yeah, the perp shuffle. And they get him out of there really quick. Because I remember live streaming this that night and doing some commentary over it. And he's in and out of there pretty quick. It might very well be true. Yeah, I'm sure it was very quiet as well. Just basic things like I use the bathroom, or I'm hungry. I'm going to get to watch the vans kind of pull away here in a second. And then we're going to wrap this one up for the night. Do a little updating on my board here. I don't have another 3, but... I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. Yeah, he probably told him to bring a quesadilla. Damn quesadilla. All right, let me have a good night laughing. Appreciate you. Let's see him pull away here. They zoom out pretty quick. So that is it. Kohberger back in Moscow. And we're going to end up wrapping this one up here in a few minutes. We're almost close to the 3-hour mark. I'm going to remove the opinionated idiot glasses here because I'm getting a little burnt on those. So Kohberger is on his way to Latah County Jail. All right. Well, that was a really great stream tonight. I appreciate everybody being here. My nights this week are going to be a little bit off. I want to be respectful to Drunk Turkey. I do believe they stream on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I probably won't stream on Wednesday. I'll just come back and do my regular Thursday and maybe sneak in a Saturday night stream like we did before. So I'm probably going to bump it to Thursday, Saturday. I just have to look at my schedule. I definitely know that I will do a Thursday night stream. Just look for the tile. I'm going to be respectful. I think Drunk Turkey streams on Wednesday, and I don't want to stream over them. I made a commitment to Daniel when we first started talking that we would not work against each other. So I want to give them the respect and let them do their stream on Wednesday if they do have one up. And then I'm going to do one definitely on Thursday because that is my night, and I know they don't stream on Thursday. So let's keep this theme going. Now on part 3, what I'm probably going to do is I will try to find as much my brain's shutting down. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. Interviews with the victims' families. We'll probably do that in part 3. And then part 4, what I'm thinking about is going along where the media was and what they were reporting along the lines all the way up until he was captured and then extradited back to Moscow. So we'll make this a couple more shows out of this, see what other information we can pull up and things that we saw. I think it's very interesting, and I want to leave this with everybody before they go. I think it's very interesting that the judge, while Bryan was in court here, said no contact via Facebook, no contact via Instagram, no contact via Snapchat, and all those other social media accounts. And we know that there were search warrants pulled on all those accounts. I find that very interesting. I find that very, very interesting. Jeff gave me a $5 super chat. Surely had some kind of training on using that knife. I wonder if his computer history will show he researched knife combat. It's an amazing point, Jeff. Really good stuff there. That's a really, really good point. Yeah, that search history is going to really reveal a lot. I'm sorry, it's getting late and my brain is shutting down. But listen, it's been a great stream. The live shows are growing epic. The channel is growing epic. And this is becoming an amazing community. I really appreciate all of you. Look at the love here. I have a $19 super sticker from C. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's make sure we do the proper tones.
Straight cash, homie. I got you, homie.
Thank you so much. I hope that everybody has an amazing Monday and Tuesday. Again, if Drunk Turkey doesn't stream on Wednesday night, I will, but out of respect for them, I don't want to stream over them. But I will definitely be back for my Thursday stream. Just look for the tile on the homepage. I will communicate through my community tab, and I also will communicate through Facebook as well. You guys are amazing community. Mandy Joe, reach out to me. Let's get the Discord server set up so we can get that chat going as well. And you can teach me a little bit about Discord. If anybody wants to email me, you can, theopinionatedidiot@gmail.com, or you can direct message me through my Facebook account or through, I don't really check Twitter that much, my Facebook. Facebook is just The Opinionated Idiot. The Opinionated Idiot. You can find the page on Facebook. My sub count right now is 332. I'm missing a 3, but we'll update the 2 before I go. The channel's growing fast, and I'm going to be super happy when I get to 5,000 and then get to 10,000 by the end of the year. And then maybe one of my videos go viral and I have 70,000 subscribers. But all that matters right now is that you are all here. I'm thankful for all of you being here. I will never forget any of you because you guys have been here from day one and have been grinding along with me. We're having a lot of fun here, and it's just been an amazing ride so far. I would have never believed that my channel would be where it is right now, and I'm so happy. And it's only going to grow and get bigger and better. And I want to just make sure that I'm creating the best experience for all of you. So I appreciate all of your support. Being here is the best thing, and whatever you want to contribute back, I do appreciate it. So I'm going to head out, guys. I hope everybody has an amazing Monday, Tuesday. Again, if Drunk Turkey doesn't stream on Wednesday, I'll be back Wednesday. If not, definitely Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll continue with the Idaho 4 looking back theme. Don't let anybody fool you. I'm the only one doing it. No one has done this. No one has done it. Don't let them fool you. I am the one that's been doing it. So make sure you leave your tips, your comments. I love all the love in the chat. You guys are amazing. Just the tip. I always take tips. Well, that kind of sounded weird. But if you want to tip me, I'll give you a tip. All right, ladies and germs. Have an amazing night. You guys are the best community. Manny Joe, reach out to me so we can get this Discord server set up. I want to do it. Tips accepted. Send in all the tips. All right, let me give you a couple of sound bites before we leave. Let's do the chair.
Liar. Steven.
Come on, man.
How dare you?
All right.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
All right, all. You guys have an amazing Monday. I'll see you back here. Maybe Wednesday, but definitely Thursday. I love all of you. Bye.